Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. I hope you have a incredible feel-good Friday, December 18th, 2020. Our show today is fucking loaded. It begins right now. Thanks to Twine for that incredible beat drop. We got James Laurinaitis joining us. Ooh. Yeah, former Ram, former Buckeye, obviously, legend. He'll be joining us here in about 20 minutes. Can't wait to chat with him about what he's been up to. He's the only player in the history of the Big Ten to be back-to-back Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, I believe.
Pretty good.
Wow. Pretty good stats there. Has a bunch of tackles for the Rams, but that Rams team was loaded with talent. They just couldn't win any goddamn games because they didn't have a quarterback for a while. Cannot wait to chat with him, obviously. Then we got Steve Kornacki.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Kornacki joining us, yes. He came into American Spotlight, I believe, on election night. For those of us that aren't very knowledgeable in the entire political world, but we're kind of forced to watch along because, you know, the world stopped that particular evening and you bounce around channel to channel. You know, if you're not a normal political person, you probably have your channel, whatever, which I've learned since then. But for me, when you bounced around channel to channel, there seemed to be one constant on each channel. And for me, somebody who has ADD and, enjoys a lot of action and activity, and you can judge a person's skill set right there. You're actually watching their skill. The map dudes became the attraction for me for the entire election night. Fox had a guy. CNN had a guy that was Diggs' guy. We'll tell Kornacki that CNN guy was Diggs' guy the entire time. No, that wasn't a lie. That was true. Hey, by the way, we got receipts too. We can go check that out. Remember, Diggs was screaming on Twitter. John Diggs is the best guy.
Check receipt.
And I almost, I sent a text to the group, I believe, that night and was like, hey, boys, I know some of you, Diggs, have your favorite map guys already, but if you haven't, need to bounce over to MSNBC. There is a guy that is an electric factory over there. Had rolled up sleeves. He put out a tweet before election night started. He's not going to sit down until the president's decided. He's been standing now for how long? I mean, shit's been real out there. He's now getting a gig on Football Night in America. Steve Kornacki has a book out, I believe. He's this guy I didn't know existed. And then once you saw him start to fucking go, you see that face right there? There's 25 votes in that right eyeball. Let's zoom in. Okay, got 15 up. Let's bounce out. Let's do this. Okay, here, this town. Zoom it in. Boom. X. Okay, let's go. Boom, boom, boom. 3 things pop out. He's like, all right, he's going to put that one away. See that one? Bang, put that one away. Philadelphia's a problem. Philadelphia down here. I loved him. He's now on Football Night in America. They set him up for sabotage this past week. Yeah. He didn't have the damn touchscreen. You see what's a big part of his action is the touch screen. And Sunday Night Football somehow couldn't get him a goddamn touchscreen that could work. That's problematic. We'll talk to Steve Kornacki about his thoughts on the playoff setup and how do you become a map dude. There's only a couple jobs. That might be the hardest job to get in media.
Yeah.
So how did he get in there? And he hit a home run. And then after him, we have a surprise guest. What?
Oh. What?
Whoa.
Wait, what?
What?
What are you talking about?
What?
That's what I'm asking. What?
We have a surprise guest. The surprise guest will be electric. I am very pumped about it. He kind of gave it away yesterday. This is the first time we're ever going to do a surprise guest just because of how big it could have been. And it is. Yeah. And, Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? Yeah, so we have James Laurinaitis, Steve Kornacki, Steve Austin, AJ Hawk. How you doing? Keep it moving. Feel good Friday. This will be the first time Steve Austin and I speak. We had a phone conversation years ago when I was still playing because his agent, I believe, he and I were potentially going to do business together at the time, the whole thing. And he said, "Oh, I rep Steve Austin as well." I was like, "No way." He was like, "Yeah." So the next day I got a call from Steve Austin. And I had a full conversation with him. It was like 15, 20 minutes. And he was like, "Go ahead and save my number." Did the whole thing. And I was like, "You got it. This is awesome." But then you don't want to be too weird. And then 5 minutes after the call ended or whatever, I got a butt FaceTime from him.
Oh, nice.
I didn't answer it though because I knew it wasn't for real or whatever. He hangs up. He goes, "Sorry, but now," and then he goes, "We won't FaceTime" or something like that. Or something like he said something like, "I don't FaceTime" or something like that. I was like, "Yeah," and I never used his number ever again or whatever. So this will be the first time that I get a chance to really speak with him and have a conversation with him and ask him a lot of questions. And he had complimented me the other night with Fitzy and Maz on Monday Night Tailgate show.
Yep.
So I'm very thankful for that. Obviously, little 90s kids everywhere are probably incredibly pumped about it. I'm one of those kids, so I'm excited to talk to him about his life. Straight Up Steve Austin Season 2 debuts Monday, January 11th after Monday Night Raw on USA Network. It is his birthday today, so we'll talk to him for sure. And it's also Ty Schmidt's birthday.
Thank you very much.
Happy birthday, Ty.
I appreciate it.
30 years ago today. Wow. I don't know what time. But one of the funniest humans to ever grace this planet was born, and for that we are grateful, pal.
Grateful for all you guys. Thank you. It's been a good day so far, so I appreciate it.
It has been. I saw yesterday you had some Horse Soldier whiskey. You had some CBD out of your water pipe that you brought into this office numerous times so far. Your lady brought in a goddamn, what's that called?
Anything bunt cake.
It was. I've never had a bunt cake before. It was unbelievable.
Very good.
We also had some Arby's pre-show, obviously. It's been a good happy birthday, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You and Stone Cold Steve Austin, little birthday tag team.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I wanted to, maybe Stone Cold a couple Broken Skull IPAs. We couldn't find any, so, it's okay.
Indiana, they do not have.
They do not have any of them.
That needs to change. What? That needs to change. At Boston Connor, how you doing?
Fantastic. What a game last night, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to get into it after Tony Diggs.
Good, Pat. How are you?
I'm terrible. Terrible.
What do you mean?
I mean, everybody knows I haven't been as hot as I once was. Whenever it came, I get it, and we're talking to Steve. But right now, whenever what we just got brought up there about this game last night, my gambling, although I'm still above 50% on the year, so people are still making money.
Oh yeah.
Okay, off of my picks, which I am proud about. But boy, the glory days that I had this season seem to be long gone. Those things are in the rear view, and they're getting smaller and smaller as I'm continuing to drive faster and faster away. I started out this weekend here, week 15, 0-2 last night. I had the under, 1 to overtime, 1 to over. Both teams scored in overtime, by the way. Never fucking happens. Over hits. Then also I had Raiders -3 and then -3.5 as well. Just for no other reason other than Anthony Lynn's going to fuck it up. They need to win a game. And then, Derek Carr pops his goddamn groin about 4 minutes into the game. Justin Herbert, maybe the best quarterback I've ever seen in my entire life last night at times. I mean, he's going to be unbelievable. And then the Raiders just throw an interception away at the end. No, listen. Super Mariota is back.
Yeah, he is.
He looked good.
Marcus Mariota is all the way back. All right, that was awesome to watch him. Actually, as somebody who played against him in the AFC South, I'm happy that he got his chance because he got run out of time by Tannehill, and it was a quiet departure because of how much success Tennessee had. See you later. He signed for like $8 million with the Raiders this offseason. Everybody's like, "What's he doing? What's he doing?" I assume he's had a chance to kind of move over everything that happened in Tennessee mentally, maybe get better at football because it seemed like it last night, and he was awesome to watch. But with that being said, the Chargers tried to give away that game last night. They tried to have the Raiders cover, and then, it just couldn't happen. Good game, good Thursday night football matchup. 1 to overtime. Anytime you get that in a divisional game, it's going to be good. Michael Lombardi told us yesterday, he's co-host of Hammer Don podcast. He said it's going to be a 3-point game. So if it gets a 3.5, you're screwed, whatever it is. And that's exactly what happened somehow, some way, even though it looked like the Raiders were just going to score a touchdown on the first drive, game over, win by 6, and cover. How you doing? Keep it moving. They couldn't do it. A great start to week 15, though. I'm pumped for the weekend. We got some games. Now. There's some things to bet on, but last night's game, I think the only thing we learned is that the Raiders can't close the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think 7 of the last 9 seasons that John Gruden, his coach, has not made the playoffs.
Correct.
The Raiders were 6-3 and had the easiest remaining schedule in the NFL. Everybody said they've lost 4 out of the last 5. And if it wasn't for Greg Williams' cover 0 blitz at the end of the game, they would have lost 5 out of the last 5 games. There's just another collapse, just like last year, and I guess just like the 7 of the last 9 seasons for Gruden. What's the problem? Is this like Andy Reid's season? Like we used to talk about. We used to talk about Andy Reid's season being something that was very real, where Andy Reid would draw up plays and for whatever reason, well, I know why, because if I'd plays that awesome too, it'd be tough for me to keep some in the chamber, but he would just unload all of his plays. And then it felt like week 10, week 11, maybe going even forward to week 12, everybody would figure out Andy Reid's defense or Andy Reid's offense, and it would be a whole different team. It was called Andy Reid season. People forget that because the last couple of years of Patrick Mahomes, he can continue just to draw up any plays because everybody has, and they just keep doing it or whatever. But Andy Reid got that off his back. Is John Gruden the same type of? Is all of his team kind of known about by a certain point, and then it just moves on, or is it the fact they don't have the quarterback that can really continue to go like you know what I mean? Derek Carr, by the way, you're never going to see him in a Raiders jersey again.
Probably not.
Hell of a run.
Yeah.
Hell of a run.
Good career.
Good career.
Well, you know, he's going to be a backup for a long, long time. He's going to be a journeyman in the NFL. So his starting career was fantastic.
He is going to be a backup for at least the next year or two, I'd assume, after everything that's gone on. A lot of people are saying that he would have to earn his next contract here for the next couple of weeks. He pops his groin, T's and P's to that. Hope everything goes well with that. He's not going to be a Raider, though. He'll be a backup somewhere in probably a very small contract, and then he'll get a chance maybe to do what Tannehill did, maybe to do what Mariota did, maybe to do what other quarterbacks have done whenever they get a chance to start and kind of prove themselves again. But that feels like that's going to happen. But with Mariota, is he the guy next year in Oakland? Oakland.
For sure.
Oakland, that was Gruden's hat. Las Vegas. He is the guy, I think, though. They're only paying him $10 million, too. You can do a lot of stuff with that. Why not give him a chance? He looked good.
He looked incredible last night.
Gruden's going to chew him up and spit him out. You just wait.
You think Gruden's a problem at Nick Mariota? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, you saw the numbers we just talked about.
Gruden, oh, man.
Rod Marinelli.
He was so good at Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
He was so good at Monday Night Football. And I know he's owed, $70 million at this point or whatever, $80 million. And Mike Mayock, who knows how that's going to continue to go, even though they seem to have a team that comes out of nowhere every single year and then they just right into the end. Who knows what's going to happen with that, but he was so good at Monday Night Football.
Yeah, the best.
Eastman to just make a deal with the Raiders. Hey, we'll pick up the $70 million. We'll just move it over to Monday Night Football. Pretend like this never happened.
You guys do what you got to do. That'd be awesome. But I feel like Al Davis's kid loves John Gruden, you know? So, that's a part of it. Gruden is a part of the Raiders, I believe, at this point. You know what I mean? The marketing, the strategy, the new city. And on the other side, Justin Herbert's really good.
Awesome. Yeah.
Congrats to Anthony Lynn getting a big win.
Nice job, Tony.
I mean, there were some suspect decisions going on at the end of the game. They were trying their best not to win it, but they did. Justin Herbert in primetime games this season. This is from @Ducks Cruton, which is Oregon's recruiting.
Nice.
Page 600 total yards, 7 total touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The kid's it. He's got moxie. He's got size. He's got all the ability. It seems like he knows what the hell's going on the field. He makes plays he's not supposed to make. He has a little bit of Big Ben in him while he's getting hit. He has a strong enough arm. He'll be able to make a play. He's a dude, man. It was awesome to watch him. Congrats on getting the win. Congrats on yelling about getting in, too. I mean, that made a lot of headlines last night on the internet. But that was a great game last night.
Yeah, and if Rod Marinelli's going to call the worst 2-minute defense to end the second half, he's going to take advantage of it.
Well, Rod Marinelli, he had a short week. Okay, they got 4 starters out. The guy had no chance going in there, which anybody that bet the Raiders, you'd think they would know that. But at Viva Lazito, what is today's poll? I mean, I was sitting watching that game. I'm just like, you got to be fucking kidding me. The first drive of Herbert, I was like,
oh, yeah.
This is how it's going to be. But then,
yeah.
Right back. Raiders come right back. And then all of a sudden, right to the groin, he goes. And then Mariota's running people over, dropping balls in the bucket. I'm
Great
like,
throw to Darren Waller.
Here we go. Like, we're about to win.
Back.
I'm back. I nod off for like 15, 20. I come back. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What happened? And then I realized I missed a lot. 2 missed field goals, an interception, another missed field goal, a fumble potentially. I mean, there was a lot that happened at the end of the game. Games are getting good. But Justin Herbert seems to be that guy. At Viva Lazito, your poll today revolves around that subject.
Yes. Who's the best rookie quarterback? Last place right now, Tua at 5.9%. Jordan Love, 8.9%. Joey Burrow, 19.7%. And Justin Herbert, 65%.
Jordan Love is rating higher than Tua Tagovailoa, which is a surprise in this rookie quarterback poll of Zito's right here.
He hasn't dressed yet this year.
And the only film we have seen has not been good.
Not good, yeah. Right in the dirt.
Jordan Love's PR people do need to do a better job of stealing film from practice and leaking out something that's good. You know what I mean? Like somebody should do that. Just a ball.
Well, is there a chance that there hasn't been a ball thrown yet?
The poll here says that Jordan Love is 3% better than Tua Tagovailoa.
Do you think they're saying that because he's behind Aaron Rodgers right now?
No, I think they're
And
saying that
he's
because we
learning.
got a lot of Packers fans that are just trying, or trolls. Probably the trolls. If I had to
A
guess,
lot of trolls.
A lot of trolls.
They're doing well, too.
Yeah, the trolls are moving the thing. But Justin Herbert, and now Joe Burrow, if he survives Cincinnati, which, I mean, I'm not sure he's going to, especially with how this year went and everything. He looked unbelievable, but the shots he was taking, mentally, physically, he was just getting slaughtered. And they're like, no, he likes that. I'm like, okay, I like that he likes that. I like that he likes that. I think it's very cool. He's that tough of a guy and he likes it and all that stuff. But I feel like Cincinnati Bengals potentially just ruin his career, right?
Yeah.
And and the Bengals fans, you don't deserve this, okay? Listen, who they? Okay?
Who they?
Who they say gonna beat them Bengals? Well, everybody has, and that's kind of been the problematic thing. And with you guys, with Zach Taylor as head coach, nobody knows if he can be a head coach. Michael Lombardi said yesterday, poor guy, there's no reason he should have that job. He's nowhere near qualified for that job. He said the only reason why he got it is because he knew Sean McVay or whatever. And then that conversation of is Zach Taylor going to get fired doesn't even come up, by the way. Everybody's like, no, he's safe. We talked to Tom Pelissero, who has one of the greatest holiday Christmas cards that the internet has seen alongside his wife and baby. But he said that there's been no chatter about Zach Taylor getting fired or anything like that. Now, this was weeks ago or whatever. At this point, who knows what's going to happen. But Joe Burrow, if he remains, and this is why there was a conversation about him choosing the Eli Manning, the shit out of the Bengals, and say, I'm not going there. Now, Joe Burrow never said that, okay, but people that were potentially around him did say that that was potentially going to happen, and it's a real worry. With Herbert at the Chargers, are you more safe or comfortable with his future with the Chargers or Joe Burrow's with the Bengals? And it's like, that's hilarious because Eli actually did that to the Chargers, what everybody thought Burrow was going to do with the Bengals. And there's a reason why you're the number 1, number 2 pick or whatever, because you're not a good team or whatever. But it's just, I feel much more confident with the Chargers setting Herbert up for success than the Bengals setting Joe Burrow up for success. And that is the talking point 1, 2, and 3, I think, whenever you're talking about whether or not a rookie quarterback is going to go on to be great or not.
Well, yeah, because the Chargers have, I think Telesco's a good GM. I believe you think that as well. They have a great new, beautiful stadium, great new, beautiful facilities. It's going to attract other players and things like that. They got money coming into that organization. Unlike the Bengals, who don't have an indoor facility, I'm not sure they even have a GM. I think their secondary coach, I believe, is also their GM.
For the Bengals?
No, that was just
Oh my God!
Couldn't fool me.
By the way, you say that about any other team, and everybody goes, "Okay, all right." Yeah. With the Bengals, you go, "Oh, let's check that." Is that actually is coach? You're talking about coaches, GM too? Yeah,
because all their coaches are their scouts.
Yeah, the Bengals just have. I mean, that place stinks. The fans don't deserve it. The city doesn't deserve it. The players. Now, granted, they had some dogs on that team. Pac-Man posted a photo of years ago. It was him and Carlos Dunlap, and I believe the dad Brown or whatever. And he was like, this was back when our locker room had a bunch of dogs. Well, you got to have dogs, by the way, to survive that program or whatever. And if you don't have that group, it's going to be hard to get that group in there, I think. It's going to be hard to be able to keep that. Will you be able to get a group in there that wants to be Bengals and play well for the Bengals while Joe Burrow is still on this rookie contract? Because if he becomes a free agent, I assume somebody will pay for him, and hopefully he'll be able to survive to that point.
This is a hindsight 2020 question, but with the Washington football team going away from Dwayne Haskins and then the Lions who are at number 3 potentially going away for Stafford, you think they probably would have maybe wanted to go back and maybe draft Herbert at 2 or 3?
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
I mean, Chase Young's great.
Chase Young is great.
Jeff Okuda's been unbelievable this season.
Has he?
No, he's been very bad.
Terrible.
You can't blame him.
But do you remember how good he flipped his hips at that combine?
Oh, yeah.
Bro, that was one of the, I would have drafted him
Like
too.
a switch.
I would have drafted him. He was running backwards at the combine, and then he just his hips were just turning around while his body was and then he was going like it was like a 4.2 40 backwards while his hips were just flipping. And you're like, look at this dude. He was this absolute stud, but. I mean, he does have to play Aaron twice a year, too.
True.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it could be a little bit of a learning curve. And that defense stinks as a whole, I think, right?
And he had a coach that didn't really know what he was doing, I'm pretty sure.
Whoa.
The guy that got fired, all right, we know who it was.
At Evan Foxy, former Detroit Lion fan, just took a shot at the greatest fourth quarter coach of all time.
Tone is right, though. I mean, yeah, back in when the draft happened, if we would have took Herbert, I would have been pissed off, but hindsight's 2020. It would have been pretty cool right now to have him on the roster.
We got to remember that then when drafts come around, you know, all the overreactions. Look, we can't judge these drafts until, you know, at least a season or two down the road. Chase Young, stud.
Yeah.
Herbert looks like he's going to be unbelievable. And if 10 years from now you could go back and draft Herbert or Chase Young, I'll be intrigued to see who says what there. Because if Herbert's still playing and Chase Young's maybe finishing up a 10-year career, all pro, but Herbert's still going, everybody be like, should took Herbert, should took Herbert, no matter what Chase Young does.
Herbert's definitely set up for more success, but
What about Miami? We can just go right to Miami. Fuck Detroit.
Yeah.
Like we can go right to Miami. They took Tua. Tua's been winning, right? Hey. Right?
Threw for 350 last week.
That's what Tua's been doing great.
Yeah.
Tua's been doing unbelievable. But if Tua somehow within the next 3 years doesn't become primetime guy, there's always going to be Herbert was sitting there, and Tom Telesco of the Chargers openly said, hey, once it got to Miami and both Tua and Herbert were there, we had no more decisions to make. We let Miami make the decision, and we'll take the other quarterback or whatever. And it's like, well, Miami chose Tua over Herbert. Tua's been winning. Tua's a stud. But that'll be judged 5-10 years from now as well. All of these things will be, especially with how good Herbert is going to be, I think.
Well, and both those guys, though, Herbert's got Mahomes and Tua's got Josh Allen, both in their division. Like, even though they're set up well for success, are they going to have any with those other quarterbacks?
Yeah. Well, and Herbert's they're both at franchises, I guess, where you're like, they're not supposed to win there.
Yeah.
No chance.
They kind of
No big deal.
Culture change.
Well, you talk about B-Flow down there.
B-Flow's got the boys going.
Yeah, he's got the boys buzzing down there. We got to get to a break. We have James Laurinaitis joining us on the other side. Let's go. Yes. He played 7 years with the Rams, 1 with the Saints. And when he was with the Rams, they were very bad. Right? They were very, very bad football team.
He was the bright spot.
Yeah.
I'll be excited to ask him, like, hey, biggest difference between a culture that stinks and a culture that was good. And when did he leave the Rams? He left.
So he went there, and then he had to have 2, I believe, tricep surgeries, and then he basically retired after that.
To the Saints?
Yeah.
But when did he leave the Rams?
So 2016, I believe, was when he was with the Saints. So he was with the Rams until 2015.
That's like Chris Long. As soon as they went to L.A., he got cut.
Yeah, I think that might have.
He was part of that, yeah.
Chris Long also.
Oh, that cut? Because then he went to the Patriots.
Yeah, he went on to win back-to-back Super Bowls for Chris Long.
Yeah, but I'm saying Laurinaitis did not. There was a lot of guys. There was a lot of guys that played for the St. Louis Rams. Tough, hard times. Hard times. And then team goes to L.A. and they're like, all right, here we go. And it's like, well, actually,
You're not coming.
You need to go fucking back.
I believe he was part of it.
You're going back to the Battlehawks. 24 minutes into the show here. James Laurinaitis will be joining us on the other side. Then Steve Kornacki, Steve Austin, what? AJ Hawk. I mean, it's a hell of a day. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. Give us a call. We'll see you on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Feel Good Friday, December 18th.
Why is it okay for women to say, oh, you're 5 feet on dating sites? You should be dead? That's okay?
Who said that to you here? Nobody.
Women in general have said it on dating sites. You think I'm making that shit up? Everywhere I go, I get the same fucking smirk with the biting lip. Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father or my boss. Dude, you want to step outside? You want to step outside? Huh? I'm not scared of you, pal. Enough. You shut up, too. You shut the fuck up. Go ahead and attack me, Jake.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I just wanted bagels. I recorded the whole thing.
Absolutely. Oh, and a guy 3 times my size. That's okay?
Get your food and
What happened? Well, I'm sorry.
Get your food and leave it.
You know what? Fuck your fucking breakfast.
There's no need to
You think that's You think that's funny? All you women drink shit now. All you.
You need to go.
No, you women need to stop getting so fucked up.
Couple people, one college kid, took a shot at my swag.
We noticed.
We know. We don't like that
I
kid.
don't think a lot of people understand what swag is. You know, some of this younger generation thinks, swag is just like the clothes I wear or whatever. No. Swag is a mentality.
Yeah.
Swag is a mindset. I tried to tell this to some of the guys in the locker room this week. I said swagger, which is what swag comes from. Swagger is a mindset. Swagger isn't that you have a Supreme backpack on. Or that you have your shoes, unlaced walking around with, You know, you got your new Louis fanny pack that you make sure it's not worn at your waist. It's worn over your shoulder. That's not swag. That's not swagger. That's fashion choices. True swag is owning your inner essence. It's a mindset. And my essence on the field is that I feel like I'm a throwback player and I'm a tough guy. What I've played through, how I wear my stuff, you know, I'm kind of a no-nonsense, straightforward. To me, that's what swag is all about.
You're damn
all
right.
this like fake swag out there. I got my special towel. I got this. I got that. I got this writing out there. A lot of you guys are just posers.
All right.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
It's time to spoil the shit out of your dog.
Oh, hell yeah.
With BarkBox. 2 toys, 2 treats, and a chew. It starts as low as $22 a month for $60 worth of dog chews and toys.
All right.
Yeah. It's the best day of the month for our dogs when their BarkBox arrives. Ty, what were you saying about Murph?
Oh, he loves it. Sniffs it, tries to rip the thing open. He knows when it's coming.
He knows that it's probably coming for you guys too, so you look like heroes to Murph.
Every time.
I mean, not just because you adopted and saved Murph's life, but because every single month, with zero thought to you at all, 2 toys, 2 treats, and a chew come every single month.
Boom, like clockwork.
And by the way, right now, it could be 3 toys, 2 treats, and a chew for just $22 for the next year, because if you join now, you'll get a free extra toy in every single box. $60 worth of toys for free. Sign up your pup and get unique toys and snacks, plus a free extra toy every month. Tailored toys and treats, shipped free every single month. Start now and get $60 in free toys. Unique toys, USA-made treats. Shout out to Canada as well. Free monthly delivery and $60 in free extra toys. BarkBox.com/Pat. Welcome back to the show. Base just dropped, as did some knowledge about BarkBox, which is unbelievable. BarkBox.com/PAT. Joining us now is a man who is an Ohio State legend. Obviously, he was in the NFL for 8 years. Now you can hear him calling Big Ten games, and he has a daily show from 9 to 12 on 97.1, The Fan in Columbus. I wonder if he follows General Bob Carpenter and Schlegs on that channel. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us, James Laurinaitis. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. I do follow. I mean, following the energy of General Bobby Carpenter and Anthony Schlegel is tough to do every day, man.
I just want to let you know, were they before you or after? They were before you, huh? That's why you didn't get a chance to get your face.
They were.
Other way.
How do I word this? They were seniors when I was a freshman, so they were my mentors, if you will. So I had quite the baptism into college football.
Yeah, well, you weren't on the box, that's why I just threw it down there. You were the only player in the history of the Big Ten to be either back-to-back Defensive Player of the Years or 2-time or something along those. Whenever you were playing, did it just come super easy? Like what? Because normally. And how did you, how does that even happen? Because the Big Ten has had a lot of football players.
Oh, yeah. A lot of good football players.
Great football players. You're the only one ever. When you get to college and you're a freshman, is it because those 3 lunatics helped you out, or what was it about, your success at Ohio State, you think?
A lot of just luck, staying ready. I have to give credit to Luke Fickell, who is now the head coach at Cincinnati. He was our linebacker coach. And, week 1, I'm third at Sam linebacker. I'm not even supposed to play. Marcus Freeman, who's the D coordinator at Cincinnati, tears his meniscus, which hurts, but it's, you can come back in a few weeks from that. Gets staph infection in it. Well, now I'm up to the second string behind Bobby. And then the first play against Michigan, Bobby gets hurt, and I'm in the game. And from there on, I just was always prepared because of Luke and the way he made us study and be ready to play. And a lot of good players, a lot of good coaches around me, and just thankful to have the opportunity to play.
Yeah. A lot of people have a lot of good coaches around them, James. Just remember that. I respect how humble you are. But remember that. Never, ever forget that. I hope whenever you're looking in the mirror by yourself. Let's talk about Luke Fickell. That Cincinnati team's getting screwed, mostly because schools like Ohio State kind of kick them out. But I love what – did you know that Luke Fickell was probably going to be – because I assume Auburn's probably going to come after him. I assume any job that's open that's big is going to come after him. He's already turned down Michigan State, West Virginia, and everything like that. Did you know that he was going to be the guy? Obviously, you said Luke Fickell helped you out a lot, but is that upon first meeting him, watching him work, or has he just been consistent? What makes Luke Fickell such a good coach, you think?
Well, he's consistent. You said it, but also the growth, man. I mean, he's been a guy that the year that he had to take over for Tress, when Tress resigned, was tough on him. Your quarterback's out, your wide receiver, running back, some guys suspended. It didn't go well in Columbus. And so I think he really second-guessed, can I be a head coach? And then with the hiring of Urban Meyer, he learned under Urban as well. So he has Tressel as a mentor, Urban Meyer he's taken things from, really good friends with Mike Vrabel, teammates with Vrabel. So he's kind of found out who he is as a head coach, and he's done a great job. But he's consistent. I mean, he's going to coach everybody the same. He listens to his guys. He knows what it's like to be in that locker room, instant credibility. And you're right. I think getting them missing some games due to COVID issues and not being able to play has definitely hurt them. They're not the only team. I mean, my goodness, they don't get talked about. I mean, how about USC? USC could win the Pac-12 tonight and be 6-0, and yet no one even talks about them. Yet Ohio State 6-0 tomorrow. You're like, oh, they're in. But, they'll slam it shut. So I think it's fascinating that no one's even talking about the Trojans.
Well, to be fair to Ohio State and to the Trojans, if this was 10 years ago, back when we were in school, if USC was 6-0, it would be stop everything. Yeah. But with where that whole organization has gone right now, and with what Ohio State has been able to do, why is Ohio State just so dominant all the time? I try to ask AJ this, and obviously you guys didn't have to go to class, and you guys got free tattoos, right? Free tattoos is why you guys are good at football, obviously.
I paid for my tattoos, bro. I didn't get that deal.
Well, they look good. All right. I don't know what you got charged, but you probably should have paid more for how nice they are. But why is Ohio State so good? What is it about that program you think that it has the respect of everybody, by the way? Everybody knew that the Big Ten was going to change rules if it affected Ohio State somehow. Everybody knew the college football playoff would not give a damn how many games it had if Ohio State is proven to be a good team. And everybody's just like, yeah, that's just how it is. Why is Ohio State the way it is, you think?
Well, Urban Meyer, I think, elevated the recruiting when he came in, and he really tried to elevate it for the whole conference, but he took it off. And then you've had quarterbacks named Braxton Miller, J.T. Barrett, although a really good college quarterback, not a pro guy, but a really good college quarterback. You're able to go right to a guy like Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins before that, forgot about Dwayne. My goodness, the single most explosive season in Ohio State history. So, Barrett, Haskins, Fields, and now you have a kid, C.J. Stroud, Kyle McCord just signs as well. Jack Miller's already there. Quinn Ewers, the number one kid in next year's class. It's quarterback, and it's development. And Ryan Day has flipped
James,
the development of Dwayne Haskins.
It's cold as hell in Ohio. Okay, it's cold as hell. It's not a dome. What is it about? I guess it's a great academic institution. It is a great academic institution, but normally the great recruiting places are all warm. You even look at USC, it's all warm because it's an easier recruiting process. It's like, hey, you want to be here or do you want to be in Columbus, Ohio, where they are going to get 10 inches of snow on a random Tuesday in December, and you're going to have to deal with it while going to class and everything. Not this year, obviously, but why? What do you think? Is it because of the tradition? Because they know that when you get there, you're going to get good coaching because the facility? What is it you think?
I think it's two things, Pat. It's the fact that now you have all these kids going to the NFL. Like when kids look at colleges now and they see Zeke Elliott, The Ohio State University, like, oh, top paid running back. Michael Thomas, The Ohio State University. Oh, my goodness, wide receiver, Ohio State University. Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, Chase Young. These are impact NFL guys. So now you pair that with what was the celebrity of Urban Meyer we went recruited, and then we called it the NFL-ication of Ohio State. Ohio State always had guys go to the league, but not like top cats. Like you're talking about Michael Thomas, Zeke Elliott, and now with Justin Fields supposed to be with Kuiper and McShay, the second-ranked quarterback going in, possibly the number 2 overall pick. Every position is getting looked at as an impact NFL player. That has a lot to do with it. And they also embraced the cold. I think it was maybe 5, maybe more years ago, Nike did a commercial of them playing in the cold, and the whole premise behind the ad and the whole thought process was, if you want to play in the NFL, you're going to play in cold weather games. Come do it here at Ohio State.
Okay, so let's talk about before the NFL location. NFL location? Is that the NFL location? I believe that is a great word term, by the way. Would like West Virginia to start doing that. We should try to NFL locate as fast as possible. I think that is good recruiting. Also, get on national television, not have to travel 7,000 miles every game because you're in the Big 12, maybe go to ACC. But there's a lot of conversations there. But you were obviously a long line, not a long line, yeah, pretty long line of incredible linebackers that went into the NFL out of Ohio State. When you go to St. Louis, we were looking up your stats. You had so many tackles. Like it felt like you were potentially part of every single tackle that happened every single game. I mean, there was a lot of tackles, but you have no awards. Like there's like we couldn't find any awards or anything like that. Why is that? Is that because the Rams were just a team that was completely overlooked when you were there? A lot of stars there because by the way, whenever we were putting together your thing, I was like, I'm like, Laurinaitis is a legend, dude. Very pumped to talk to him. And then we see like the lack of a respect that you got, it felt like in the awards world was mind-boggling to me. I did not remember that at all. What was your time like at the Rams? Why did that happen? And what the hell is going on?
Well, a lot of losing, man. I mean, when your best record is 7-8-1, there's not a whole lot of recognition. Plus, they don't give out plaques for like Pro Bowl alternates, so they don't have for that. C. Long and I used to joke about that all the time. Look, there was a lot of great dudes in the division even at that time. I mean, Patrick Willis is in division. You had when I first came to the league, my man Lofa Tatupu was still rolling around and playing well. So there were a lot of good players in the NFC. Then Luke Kuechly comes around. There's just a lot of good players. And when you're winning, you get more recognition. That goes back to the college stuff. When you go to Ohio State and you're part of a great university, you get acknowledged faster for national awards and stuff when you're on a winning team. When you're 7-8-1 is your best record in the pros, that stinks looking back. That's what's quite honestly, I wish I'd trade any of that crap in for just a winning season, a chance to sniff at the playoffs even, man.
That's what I was about to say, because we had a losing season in Indy and everybody was miserable. Everybody was miserable. The coaches.
That was 8 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how did you do it? Like, the amount of mental toughness that takes, I don't think gets talked about a lot because every coach thinks they're getting fired. Every player thinks they're on the chopping block. The organization probably assumes that it's going to be turned over soon. I mean, that is mental toughness getting through that, I think I don't think I would have been able to do it. So, hey, that's an award.
Yeah. Congrats.
That's an award, James. We're pretty pumped for you, man.
I appreciate that. Look, it's love of the game, man. It's love of the game. I've loved this game since 4th grade when I played it, when I first started, when my dad let me. And I was obsessed with it until it just became physically too much to keep doing it, and gosh, the game, when you get old, when you get to 30, and the game kept spreading out, I was like, no, stay tight. Stay in 22 personnel. Run the football, power, no RPOs. But, it's love of the game, man.
Hey, rest in peace to your dad, by the way. Absolute legend of a man.
That.
No problem. Big fan. Where did you grow up? Were you an Ohio kid?
No, I grew up in Minnesota. Grew up rooting for the Gophers, actually, believe it or not. Thought I was going there. That was before the rower. That was
before the rower.
Mason. Yeah. That was Glenn Mason up there at the time.
That was before the rower. That's a hilarious line there. That's before the rower. You call Big Ten games. Are you enjoying it?
I am. I think it's fascinating to be able to. It was two paths for me, right? I love football so much. It was either, do you want to talk about it and go and watch games? And I miss being able to see these coaches in person and really be on the field and see the players, or it was coaching. And I have 2 young daughters, 6 and 3, and another girl on the way in January. So it's getting very expensive. I have to keep working. But I think ultimately it was one of the 2 paths for me, on what to go. And so I like talking Big Ten football and just football in general, man.
I'll tell you what. with those kids, if you guys won some games, you get playoff bonuses. There's a lot of things that could happen.
None.
If you none of them, not a single one. That is wild. What do you got, Connor?
James, did you do any sort of shit talking while you were playing, or was there ever a game where someone just wouldn't stop talking shit to you because they were giving it to you guys pretty good?
Oh, I mean, well, gosh, Phillip Rivers is notoriously the best trash talker out there. He comes to mind. Peyton Manning was great as well. Peyton Manning, we had a blitz on one time. I'll never forget this. James Butler comes down at safety, and we're disguising. Peyton just so calmly checked with the Colts and lit us up for a touchdown, and just gave like this wink and smirk where I just felt so deflated. It was my rookie year. I remember it in the Edward Jones Dome. I'm just like,
that was in St. Louis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
I'm trying to get lined up. And we had this whole package. Spagnuolo was our head coach. We're supposed to, move on the first down, trick Peyton, disguise, all this. Peyton would come up one time, it'd be on the first down. The second time, it'd be on 3. Then he'd go on 1. Then he'd go on 2. I didn't even know when to make the move call or adjust or show. I'm so confused on what's happening. It was literally like I was in an AP course, in high school trying to figure it out going against Peyton Manning and what he knew. But it helped me grow a lot and just reflection after that game.
Yeah, I could imagine there's a lot of people that have had to look in the mirror after playing against Peyton Manning as a rookie or two. I saw him abuse some people. It was awesome. I wonder if you were the one he was looking at whenever he was because there was normally at least one person on defense that if you watched him closely enough, he was looking for that person to do something. And then as soon as he saw it, he was like, okay, there it is. Right. And then that's when the wink happens, by the way. That is exactly what. So your guy Porter, is that what you said? James Porter, is that who you said it was?
No, James Butler.
James Butler. So he was the guy then. As soon as that happened, Payne just like, well, here we go. Here's a touchdown, and then everybody else on the team was like, you got it. What do you got, Diggs?
James, before you did end your career, you went to the Saints for a handful of games before you got hurt. What was the biggest difference between the locker room and the organization of a winning team down there?
Oh gosh, it's the expectation, right? It was the urgency, like the belief in St. Louis was we're trying to get over that hump, right? We're close. In New Orleans, it was such an expectation of this is where we need to be. And the demand out of Sean Payton every single day in practice, practicing against Drew Brees every day was awesome. And really the culture was way different. And really at that time when I was in New Orleans, it was a team that had gone 500 or around there for a few years trying to kind of get back. But they still remembered their success. And you mentioned Pat Peyton Manning with the one step. I mean, Drew Brees, it was the same thing. Like if your safety is usually, in cover 2 at 18 yards deep and he lines up at, 17 and a half, he knows it. And he's reckoning, he's going to come down, it's cover 3, and boom, it's the slight details that he needs, and he can pick you apart.
James, you're a really good talker, man. Are you on the Big Ten Network when you call games?
I am. I got Nebraska at Rutgers tonight.
Let's go.
Rutgers getting 7.
We're doing
Let's
it out
go.
of Chicago. How about this? This is a new one for me. We're doing it out of Chicago because of that snowstorm that happened over on the East Coast. They were worried we weren't going to be able to get in yesterday. So we're doing the game from the Chicago studios.
Oh, so you're going to be watching TV.
Yeah. But I'm thankful because here's the thing. It's supposed to be a low of 12 there. I don't need to be sitting in the booth at 12 degrees.
True.
I'm not that tough anymore, Pat.
How do you feel like this game's going to go, by the way? You think old Shiana man's got the team ready to go?
I do. I think Greg's guys, I mean, they're having an unbelievable year to what they've been in the last few years. And I think you look at who wants it more. I mean, it's simple. I mean, Nebraska's coming off a hard loss to Minnesota. And who wants it more? It's gonna be a tight one, and it'll be interesting. But I think Greg Schiano's boys are playing with a lot of heart.
Does Shiana still have them diving at the offensive line's legs whenever it's kneeling?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it.
That's good news. I didn't know if you saw it on film or not. I didn't know how you would react to that.
He's not doing it. Not yet. Not yet, anyway.
How long you been calling games? There's a lot of terrible NFL commentators. Terrible. And you listen. You're probably too nice of a guy to say it, and you'll say it's a hard job, and I understand it is. But there's some people that can talk, and there's some people that can't talk, and there's some people that can talk are put into positions where they have to be able to talk, and the entire world has to suffer from it. So how long have you been doing this? When do we make the jump to the NFL? And I'm pretty pumped up about it. Congratulations.
Yeah, James.
Congratulations, James. Get an NFL gig.
Yeah, it's been 3 years now, and it's been fun. I enjoy it. You learn something. I mean, I had the fortune of following around right when I was done with the Saints and I got hurt. I actually went with Herbie to watch him do a West Virginia Oklahoma game. So it was at West Virginia. I'm sorry, Pat, did not go well for your squad. But that was, Joe Mixon, P. Ryan, Baker. They had a good night. It was snowing. Yeah. You remember that one?
Yeah, I do. I watched it. All right, get that. What did Herbie teach you, James? What did Herbie teach you? All right.
But like sitting next to Herb Street in the booth, who's, my goodness, the goat at it. And I'm seeing him and how he's going about it and what he's talking. And he's giving, he has everything at his disposal. The clicker to be able to rewind the coach's tape real quick. And it's amazing how much information he knows. But then also, you're not just talking to football guys on TV, right? You're talking to people who are, just layman football fans. And you got to be able to explain stuff in a way to where football guys understand it, but also, you can't just you can't be saying 3 techniques and all this and all. You can't be naming stunts. People have no idea what the heck you're talking about. So you have to really talk about the game in a way that would dumb it down to people who are really been in the league for 10 years, but also that they would actually respect you and understand it as well.
I hope you get a chance to call NFL games. We need you up here, man. The league.
Well, I hope so too.
Oh, are we having conversations? Who do we need to talk to? Who do you want us to tweet at?
I don't know. I'm just happy to have a job right now. I just keep my
head
down.
Yeah. A lot of good coaches around me. Hey, before we let you go, can't thank you enough for joining us here. I've gotten into the ring a little bit in wrestling.
I know.
And that business is a lot of generationals, like a lot of generations go. Did you ever think about getting into the business at all?
I thought about it when I was really young, but to be honest with you, Pat, I saw how much my dad, how sore he was. And as I was going through high school, he used to explain to me, he's like, back when I wrestled, the only time you got, time off was when you got hurt or basically suspended for something. And, it's a nonstop. And I think you can see it. Those guys go nonstop at their craft and the bumps are no joke. You get a ring and you throw around bumps and all that. It's a certain soreness that people don't understand. You hit those ropes wrong, and your ribs will feel it in a certain way. So you know it.
That's from the rope. The rope just sliced my entire shit open. That's going to be a scar forever. I'm thinking about getting a tattoo. Who said this yesterday? Somebody said Bailey McComas, who's our tubes guy. He said I should get a tattoo that says first cage match. Just with this thing's going to be here forever. You're
braver than I am. Have you got to interact with my Uncle John Laurinaitis at all?
One time in Indianapolis, it was whenever he was doing the Power of the People, the whole thing. He was running that whole thing. I got a chance to chat with him. But that was really quick interaction, though. But your family obviously is massive in the business, and I just assumed at some point you'd get involved, but it makes sense after I've gotten in the ring and you getting a chance to experience that as a young guy. I'd be like, that's probably not something I'm going to sign up for. It is.
I've had enough tackles, bro. there's and I even watch football games now where I'm like, oh my gosh, that seems so violent. How did I used to do that?
I think about that whenever like a punter goes out and he's in like the back of his end zone about to punt. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so nervous for that guy. Like, how did I go out there and do that? Did you have many injuries? Were you pretty healthy?
No, there were some that I played through that looking back, you're like, you're an idiot. Why'd you try to play through it? Sprained MCLs, sprained UCLs, but nothing major. So I'm grateful I didn't have anything some wear and tear, missing cartilage, stuff like that. But there's no kind of shock and awe that a lot of these guys have gone through. I thought about you actually when I watched I was wondering what would Pat have done how about the Wisconsin-Iowa game when the punter dropped it? What would you have kicked it off the turf? Come on, how is that a penalty?
Well, it's illegal kicking. You
it was awesome.
Can't do it. Awesome, definitely awesome. Yeah. I think depending on how close everybody is there, you got to do the Chase Young scoop there. You know what I mean? You just got to Chase Young scoop that, but you have to miss it, and you have to slip like a normal human would as opposed to Chase Young, and then you just find yourself at the bottom of a pile. That's what I would have done probably if I had to do that. Good luck on the game tonight. We appreciate you so much. Can't wait to see you in the NFL calling games someday. We need you up here. Not that we're not with the Big Ten Network because we're in Indianapolis, so it's always on. But man, it'd be great to get a legend in there that can speak well, which you can. We're thankful for your time today, boss.
Absolutely. Anytime, man. Thanks for having me.
How was your show today on The Fan? Pretty good? You have a good show today?
It was good, man. Hey, look, it's the day before Big Ten championship, so that's cakewalk. You can talk Buckeyes for football season is easy in Ohio.
Ohio State wins by 50 tomorrow? Ohio State wins by 50, you think?
I don't think 50. I'm thinking, 42-17 is
covers.
And that's respecting. I respect Northwestern's defense too. Patty Fisher can play now. Mike Backer, they got a couple DBs that are really good, but when you spread it all out, there's only so much. I just have a sense of a lot of 3 and outs by Northwestern's offense.
Ladies and gentlemen, James Kornacki. The wrestling thing. It's always families. Like when you go there, you don't even know. Somebody be running a camera or a microphone to you real quick, and then they'll run away. They'll be like, oh, that's insert name of WWE Hall of Famer's grandson right there. I'm like, that fucking kid? Yeah. Really? Oh, nice to meet you, man. And then there's the guy that rings the bell. Even as the bell ringer, they're like, oh, that's insert name of WWE Hall of Famer's kid. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? They're like, yeah. By the way, what do they call him? Johnny Ding Ding.
Joey Ding Ding NXT.
Joey Ding Ding. Yeah, Joey Ding Ding.
Up on the main show, you've got Berkeley, who's Dusty Rhodes' nephew, and he's the son of Tugboat.
Yeah, everybody there, everybody. Cameraman comes up. I'm like, oh, thank you, and then all of a sudden, you know who that is? He's like, no, like, oh, that's insert name. And then guy walks up with a paper, like, oh, that's Mick Foley's kid. I'm like, what? Everybody here is basically, that's why. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but you could see how a lot of them choose to do the production side of it.
Yeah.
You know, can we make money in this business and work hard? Like, so we got a work ethic. Okay, we'd like to do that. But also, we saw the way our families were just beating themselves up for the love of other people's entertainment, which is unbelievable. I think professional wrestlers deserve a lot more credit, by the way.
That's James's uncle. James's uncle, Johnny, got his larynx crushed wrestling in Japan, and that's why he's got kind of that permanent, hey guys, how are you?
So
he turned front office.
But professional wrestlers, for those that aren't into wrestling at all, first of all, go back and watch Steve Austin clips right now on YouTube. I mean, but the set just... This is what we're going to do for people's entertainment is wild. And I think I've always had a respect for it. But after not being able to like get out of bed for 4 or 5 days after a match, you know what I mean? I have a whole new level, and it's all just to entertain people. It's awesome. Smart for him to just go to the NFL, I guess. But he took some wear and tear there as well.
That schedule too, though. I mean, how many days do you get off when you're wrestling? I mean, at least you get like an off season if you're in the NFL. That's
well, yeah. I assume he didn't. I'm wondering. I'm surprised he didn't go after football, though. You know, like because that's kind of how it all ties in. He was like, yeah, I'm good, dog. I am done with it. All right, we're about to wrap up hour 1 here. Let's get to a phone call. Big thanks to James, by the way. 4217, you heard it from the guy. That means that's a cover. That's good news. Because it's 18.5, that would be 25 points. I think they win by 30 to 40 points. It's a Big Ten championship. They only had a certain amount of games. Everybody's talking about they don't deserve things. It feels like Ryan Day, who is a guy that will be able to get the boys going. Like, hey, it's time to prove a point here, basically.
Yeah.
And Justin Fields only has so many games to prove he's the number 2 overall pick. This feels like it's going to be ugly. Let's go to David in New York. What's going on, David?
Hey, Pat, how you doing? Happy Feel Good Friday.
Hey, happy Feel Good Friday to you, pal. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to first give a shout-out to Ty. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, Dave. Hey, it's his birthday, too. Happy birthday, Dave.
I know colitis.
Nice.
I got Crohn's. It's not an easy battle, but shout-out for taking it on head first.
Hey, you too.
Hey, you too, man. Crohn's and colitis coming together here on birthday day. What's going on, Dave?
I have a question for you. Say the Jets. I've been a Jets fan for all 18 years of my life. I know the Jets are going to end up fucking this up somehow. Going to get the second pick.
But
do you stick with the 24-year-old and Sam Darnold, or do you move on to Justin Fields?
That's great. You know, David, that's interesting because if the Jags and the Jets both end up with one victory this year, due to the strength of schedule, the Jaguars would get the first overall pick. So the Jets could have had this happen. Greg Williams potentially was getting slandered by everybody. Could be the reason why they, end up at the number 2 pick instead of number 1 overall pick. But if they squeak out a victory here, which is possible in the NFL, teams do that and win games they're not supposed to win. The Jets would get the number 2 overall pick. And I think with the way everybody's speaking, Justin Fields is that guy. I mean, Justin Fields is a guy that you would put a entire organization behind. You know what I mean? So I think you go with Justin Fields. I think it would help out Sam Darnold, too, to potentially let him move on from the
change of scenery. Yeah.
It's a win-win.
What's up, Diggs?
They've got the Rams, the Browns, and the Patriots.
And the Patriots might just let them win if they're going to stop Trevor Lawrence from going to the AFC East.
I think you should be pretty confident that you're not going to win, Jets fans.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should be pretty pumped going into each one of these last 3 games knowing that you probably have no fucking chance of winning. Okay, you should feel good about that. That Raiders team stinks. That's why you guys were in that game. Yep. And there's been a couple other games they've been close in. They're going to lose the rest. Don't you worry about that. Hour 2 is on the other side. Steve fucking Kornacki. What? Yeah!
Lakers the home of a team and a fan base on a playoff push the likes the world has never seen before. Crescent City, get on your feet for tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Sprite, an incredibly refreshing drink. Starting at forward was the number 2 overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft. Now he's an NBA All-Star, Brandon Ingram. At forward, this man has been dunking on little white kids on the internet for 10 years. The incomparable, unstoppable 6'6" phenom, Zion Williamson. At center, standing at 8 feet tall, from Georgia Tech, number 22, Derek Favors. This man's family had a reality show in Lithuania. He was born and raised in LA, but he found his J in Vienna. Lonzo Ball. And the OG of the roster. On the court, he's a monster. Braids hanging, shots banging. It's not Drew, it's Drew Holiday. Let's get this done. Thank you very much. Go Pelicans. Tired of me right now. That's how you play basketball. This will be a 5-bowler from the Red Panda. Up we go. Yes! 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 Red Panda! What a legendary moment. You're a legend. It's an honor. Right, so mission accomplished, right? Come down, intro some players, throw some bowls to Red Panda, fly back to Indianapolis. Success story, Foxy. What a fucking night.
This next song is called Tornado by Who Are You?
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
It's coming. Grab your ankles.
Hold on to the cars. Have you ever seen the movie Twister? It's getting a bit windy out here.
Left
Some
hand,
warm
red.
weather, cold weather meeting
Left
right
foot, green.
here. There's a problem. It's a tornado. There's a problem. Do we want it? Hell no. The song goes hard. Yeah, the beat goes ham. And it's so fucking breezy. I can't even stand. Gotta go to the basement. Away from all the windows. Cause if I'm near them, then I will fucking feel those. Cause the wind is the glass and the glass will break. How much can the house fucking take? Just a couple months ago, I was standing outside, right next to my beautiful wife, when we heard a fucking train about to come through the trees, and we sprinted to the basement, almost made me fucking pee, because the breeze was coming. Yeah, I like this one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. That one's pretty good.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 2 of the Pat McAfee Show here, Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Feel Good Friday, December 18th begins right now. Let's get right to it. Big guest on the show right now. Joining us now is officially titled the NBC News and MSNBC National Political Correspondent. But you also might know him as the Football Night in America playoff percentage figure outer and the best map operator you have ever seen in your entire life. He's an author. He has books. He's brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Kornacki. Oh boy, Steve, how's it going, pal?
Pat, I'm doing well. How about you?
You know, I'm pretty proud. This show started in a basement, okay? Like most operations started in a basement. We say very dumb things about sports on a regular basis. And here we are sitting right next to a guy that stole the election night with his operating of a damn touchscreen with a folded up dress shirt, the entire thing, and an intensity and a passion for his job that the world needed at that time. There were other map operators. I'm not big in the political world. I didn't really know what I was watching for election night, but what I quickly learned is that each channel had a map operator. I'm like, well, here we go. I'm going to judge the mappers then. This is what I'm going to do. And when I found you on MSNBC, I was like, ladies, I actually sent a text to the group. Boys, get to MSNBC. There's a guy. And I wasn't the only one. The whole world did. How do you end up as the map person somewhere? That seems like maybe the hardest job in all of media to get. There's only 4 of them. How did you get there? Did you train for that? And you were so damn good. It's like your calling, Steve.
Yeah, thanks. Really kind of you to say. And I'm glad the passion came through because that's there. And for me, it's just, look, I've always loved election nights as kind of a spectacle. And that goes back, 20, 30 years before you even had this touch screen that, as you say, every network has now. I think the touch screen, is probably about 15 years old when it comes to election nights. And, the minute I started seeing that, obviously I was interested in it, but that's no guarantee I'm going to get a chance to do it. But I did get a chance. It was back in 2014. And my boss here, Phil, called me up. And basically what had happened was Chuck Todd had been doing it. He went to do Meet the Press. So they needed somebody to do it for MS on election nights. He called me up. He said, is this something you might be able to do something with? And I mean, that was the call I was waiting to get. So I was thrilled to get the chance. And yeah, I mean, look, I love election nights and I hope that comes through. And I'm really glad to hear with you that it does.
Steve. So leading up to the election night, all right, Super Bowl. That's Super Bowl, but it's more like the Olympics, I guess, because it only comes once every 4 years. Okay, so it's big night. Are you at home with your touch screen, just like, hey, let's work some things out today. Are you doing situational plays? Like, all right, let's say Philadelphia, there's maybe some questions. Let's work on that. We got 10 seconds to break down Philadelphia. And do you start challenging yourself, like, name of the county? How many humans are there? Kind of bounce out. Like, well, do you practice? How often do you practice?
That's what you're doing right now is actually pretty much what I do.
Oh, wow. Yes, that is so awesome. Let's go.
We do simulations. So we just play through different, we don't know the simulation we're being hit with, but is Trump going to win in this scenario? Is Biden going to get a landslide in this scenario? Is Ohio going to go this way in this scenario? We were doing that from August or September on. Sometimes I could be at my computer and I can follow along as the data comes in. But by Columbus Day or so, I told my producer, I just said, let's be in the studio. Let's pretend this is a real election night. Let's treat it like it's a real election night. And let's see if we're up to it. And it's a huge part of the job. And I mean, even, you could do that 100 times. You're not going to anticipate everything that happens, but it helps, I think, sharpen the reflex.
Well, when the lights come on, you got to be able to perform. And I want to let you know, all your hard work paid off, Steve. I mean, you made a lot of fans, not just us, but I think you captivated a lot of people because you also, I think a lot of people say, you were able to like somehow remain independent too. And that is something I assume you're all striving for. But I think I saw on the internet people from one side and from another side all basically being like, Kornacki's the guy. Like, Kornacki's the guy. So bravo on that, because I don't know how you keep your opinions out of that in that world. I know nothing about that world, but if I was in there, I would assume it'd be very difficult for me to be like, well, this person's obviously an idiot. I do that in sports, obviously. So the ability to do that, plus with how active you are, I think you had a hell of a night. Congrats. Bravo.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo, Steve.
Thank you.
Now that has led to another awesome opportunity, and we have to talk about it on this show because we got a chance to have you kind of dabble in our world for a little bit as well with Football Night in America. I think first week, smashing success. I think it went very well with the playoff picture coming up and who needs to do what. And you even had predictions going forward with it. By the way, we think there should be a move on these maps called the Kornacki, where it has like a triple layer. You're one of the only ones that has like the layered ones that come out. I don't know if you know that or not, if you've been scouting film on your opponent. You're the only one that has the thing come out and then you exit out and then you go back in there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you started doing that with the playoff picture and you started trying to circle, and they sabotaged you this past week. The touchscreen did not work, but you handled yourself like a champion and the content's been amazing. How's the transition into the sports world been?
No, thanks. It's I'm loving it. I'm a fan. I'm an NFL fan, but never thought I'd get a chance to actually be on the air like this. So to me, it's the best thing personally to come out of this election. And honestly, the transition, just in terms of what I'm doing, the thing that surprised me was to me it flows very perfectly, because it's very similar to standing at a board and saying, look, if Biden wins this state, if Trump gets this state, and Trump gets that state, then Biden must win this state. And it's very similar to, if Cleveland wins this game and Miami wins this game, then Baltimore's got to win that game. So we're playing out scenarios, probabilities, different combinations of events. It's what I did on Road to 270, not just election night, but I mean, that's what I was doing in the run up to the election, just playing it out. What are the different pathways here for the candidates? And I mean, we're doing the same thing. We're doing pathways for different teams to make the playoffs. It's a more fluid situation because you got, instead of two candidates, you got different teams, different teams, different conferences, different divisions. So there's a lot more sort of variables and permutations. But I think the basic format for it feels familiar to me when I'm on the air, even though it's something completely different subject-wise.
A lot of permutations out there. Who's been doing the research with you? Have you just been trying to break down do you go to like PFF with Collinsworth stuff and they just kind of break it all down? Is that like an hour a week, 2 hours a week? How have you been fitting this in? Because by the way, the political world is still very much alive, I think, right now. I'm pretty sure there's still stuff you got going on over there as well. So how have you been able to get in and learn all the situations and percentages and everything like that? Who's been helping you out?
Yeah, no, and you're right. We did one of those simulations I was talking about for the elections. We did one for Georgia yesterday because we got that Senate, a runoff that's going to decide the control of the Senate coming up in a few weeks.
So what do you got to do? You got to know the perfect amount of humans in every one of those towns. You just got to know how many humans are here, and then you got to start doing. You did math in your head that night. It was just like. It was a lot of pressure on you. I don't even think you had a clue, maybe, because you were in such a zone. The whole world was looking at you, Steve, and you were just putting these numbers together. It was amazing. But the runoff, can't wait to see you go back to work there in that town whenever you start talking about families who had more kids since the last election. That's the type of information you have. But for the football study stuff, how's that? You've been watching film, or are they just going through scenarios with you and you just kind of memorize it? What is it?
Yeah, no, Pro Football Focus, PFF, they're our partner, they're NBC's partner, so they've been, our data partner for this, and so it's, we've been talking to them, trying to learn, trying to understand their model, trying to understand some of the counterintuitive, kind of numbers it'll spit out. For instance, they've got Miami right now would be today the seventh and final seed in the AFC. Baltimore would be out today. They got the same record, but if you look at the probabilities, Baltimore's over 80% shot to make the playoffs. Miami's down by about 30%. Has everything to do with, mostly to do with schedule strength, who these teams are playing the rest of the way. So those counterintuitive things like that, I know they've been high on their model with Washington. That seems to be paying off right now with Arizona. So understanding what their model is looking at, where the numbers are coming from, how the numbers change. The most fascinating thing to me, I've never watched football this way before, but to watch those 1 o'clock and those 4 o'clock games, and what I do is I just, if at any given moment Miami's up, but Dallas is down and Philly's up, I punch those in and I see what the new probabilities would be, and I watch how they change during the game based on who's leading, who's losing, and to just see the massive swings in terms of playoff chances that are at stake in these games when they get really close. It's fascinating. Like Miami's playoff chances, if they could have somehow pulled it off against Kansas City last week, would have shot up like 40 points. They're sitting down at 30% now. They'd be, up 60, 70%. And you see the stakes in these games late season, when you put it in numbers, to me, it's fascinating.
Well, at halftime, they need to get you your map screen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You and that map screen have such a good relationship, and that map screen knows when it's showtime. The Football Night in America one, I mean, you handled it very well. But, I mean, the 52% they didn't give you the thing when I don't know if they didn't turn it on. I didn't know what was going on, but you handled it very well. You've been a great addition to probably the best show on television, to be honest, because for us, Football Night in America, for football fans, is an easy way to catch up on everything, learn everything, and also make you sound smart on Monday. You've been a fantastic addition to the show. We've really enjoyed it. Ty, what do you got?
Steve, did you ever consider being a politician yourself? I mean, I assume you're going to get quite a few write-in votes for president next election. So, did you ever want to get into that aspect, or were you always just thinking about being like a political journalist?
Yeah, God help the country if I ever got into elected office. I'd be a complete disaster. I can't make a decision to save my life. I'm fascinated by the political process. I'm fascinated by politics, by elections, by how the country kind of divides itself up and just kind of reacts to what it's seeing. That's, to me, what an election is. I'm fascinated by that part of it, but I'm not too crazy about the idea of being a politician. No.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Boston University.
BU.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Go Terriers.
Yeah, we cut the football team my freshman year.
You were going to be a quarterback. Yeah. You were going to be a starting quarterback. They don't know. You were going to walk on and do your thing. Nick, what do you got?
Steve, obviously voter fraud has been a hot button issue this year. I just wanted to get your take on Jaguars fans stuffing the ballot box for Yannick Ngakoue in the Pro Bowl to screw the Vikings out of a pick.
Have you heard about this, Steve? Do you know what this is? So
the Jags fans are, yeah.
Yeah, so this is what happened. Jags traded Ngakoue to the Vikings. Ngakoue's on the Vikings for 2 weeks, gets traded to the Baltimore Ravens. If he makes the Pro Bowl as a Baltimore Raven, somehow the Minnesota Vikings get screwed over in this thing, whether it's a draft pick or something like that. So Jaguars fans and other NFC North teams fans have been voting for Ngakoue to screw over the Minnesota Vikings. So we have a little bit of a voter situation going on in the sports world as well, Kornacki.
I love it. I love it. I love when the voters, whether it's a all-star Pro Bowl contest or an election, they're strategic. They think about you got a multi-candidate field. They think about, well, I like this one, but if I vote for him, it's going to help this one. I like when voters are strategic, so I'm on board with that.
Oh, I like it. What do you got, Connor?
Steve, as a guy from Massachusetts, I have to ask, are you a Patriots fan? And if so, have you thought about getting into the analytics of football to maybe, revive the Patriots dynasty?
Well, this is where it's different for me than doing an election, because in an election, I stay neutral. I don't want anybody guessing where my loyalties are. But I can tell you in the NFL, I'm a Pats fan.
Yeah. They stink, Steve. Who cares? Steve, they stink. Who cares?
Just by luck.
Steve,
right
they stink.
We got Kornacki. It doesn't matter.
Hey, 0%.
It doesn't matter now.
Hey, let me pull it out. Palm's gone. Belichick's here. Ernie's here. The chances are at 0. Okay, here we go. This is where we're at. That's where the Patriots are at right now.
I get this job just as they shrink down to 0.02% for the first time in 20 years. Yeah, it's amazing.
Diggs, what do you got?
Steve, how many states in the U.S. do you know every single county within that state?
Far from all of them. I'm a lot stronger in the swing states, the states that are going to be competitive on election night. That's just the reality of politics, right? We know New York State's not going to be competitive. Mississippi's not going to be competitive. So I really kind of focus in on not just the key states, even though within the state, what the key county is.
What are you saying, Steve? Come on. What are you saying, man? I feel like I just, learned. You don't know every single population of every county in the country? What? That's wild, Steve.
I can't claim credit for knowing something I don't. No, I know as many as I can, but I've got some blind spots there.
How long did you stand up for? Your tweet that you weren't going to sit down until this thing was decided. How long? When did you sit down?
I was on my feet, I think, election night, 6 p.m. we started, went overnight, about 11 a.m. the next day.
Because we saw them trotting you out in the morning, okay? And they had a shot. I don't know if you've seen it. You probably blacked out that entire time. You were locked in or whatever. But they had a shot the next morning because next day after Election Day, come into the office, and we have like a pre-show hangout over here basically for a couple hours. We're trying to figure out what's going on and whatever's going on in the world. And the conversation was, did you see Kornacki last night? And a couple of the guys were like, oh, I didn't see him or whatever. But we still had all the channels on because there was so much conversation the next morning. And I don't know if that's what normal elections are like, but it felt like it was alive the next morning as well. And they had like, the F crew on or whatever, and because it was the morning operation. No offense to your cohorts or whatever. But we didn't know who the hell they were. And then they went to a commercial break, and you were off in the side, like it was the rule of thirds with the shot over here, and they were putting the packet on you, and they were doing the whole thing, and me and Ty were like, that's the son of a bitch right there. If they're getting him back in front of a map, let's go. And you went back out there, and we're like, oh my God, this guy's got overtime. You killed it the entire time, man.
Still had the fastball.
Yeah, still had the fastball. There was other places that didn't, by the way. Yeah. We were judging all morning not that you should judge anybody else, but you absolutely dominated, Steve. This has been an honor to talk to you, bub.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate this. This was great.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good time. We just told you how much we loved you for it.
I'm not going to complain.
What do you got going on day to day? You just writing another book? You got to go talk on the television? What do you got today?
Yeah, well, I'm doing a couple, podcast radio shows and getting ready for Georgia. And supposedly there's another book in the works, but talk to my publisher about that because that's I'm a little behind schedule on it.
So you see what had happened was you were supposed to have a book already done, and we got some things that got caught up in the way.
That's what I'm going to say. You're giving me Mike's that thing where I say I wouldn't be good in elected office. I'm not good with deadlines either. So.
Hey, they're on your time, Steve. And by the way, after that election night, the whole world is, pal. We appreciate you. Good luck with everything, ladies and gentlemen. Steve Kornacki. Thank you, Steve. That guy's electric.
I love that guy.
Bro. Oh, do you, Dukes?
Yeah. Always did.
Oh, we didn't even get a chance.
Son of a bitch.
We didn't even get a chance.
It's a shame you didn't get a chance to spread your lies.
No, I completely forgot. You buried Kornacki.
That's true.
He did. Yep. Oh, I guess.
Because we are not a political show. We're not a political office. So I turned on my TV. First map guy I saw. I just stayed there.
Smart, because you didn't want to bounce around.
And then you said, go to MSNBC. Turns out on YouTube TV, very hard to find MSNBC.
He was awesome, dude. As somebody who doesn't know much going on, whenever you start seeing a guy counting populations of counties and things and then doing the math live on the air, and it's not just like how long a pun is, that's pretty easy math kind of bust out there percentages for polls or things like that. We're talking like to the thousandths of the people, and there's this family that they procreated pretty heavily there 18, 19 years ago. They're all voting in this. I mean, it was awesome to watch. I felt a little starstruck there with Kornacki.
Yeah, I mean, I really did. I watched that until like 3 a.m. on election night. Watched him for about 9 hours.
We spent a lot of time with Kornacki.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time. That's the first time I've ever been like starstruck, but it's going to happen again. And here we go. It's going to happen in moments. I mean, it's going to be a good time. What I just want you guys to do is just go. Can't have that song. Just go tell a friend right now that Stone Cold Steve Austin's going to be on this show in about 4 minutes. Okay, so get it together. Everybody tighten up. We're a professional show. Let's not lose our mind too much when he gets on here. It's going to be very difficult. Thank you to Steve Kornacki. Steve Austin is next. It's the Pat McAfee Show. Feel Good Friday, December 18th, 2020. Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Last night I was roaming around Canal and Bourbon, and it was a lot of purple. And when you get that Mercedes-Benz Dome, and it starts getting loud and it gets rompous, obviously, not only for momentum and swings like that it can help, but for the defensive line to get a jump. I think that is a big deal. A lot of freak athletes on the field, and kickers are a spectacle no matter what happens. Whenever you're in those high-pressure moments, you normally fall back on your fundamentals. You normally fall back on your technique. You try to take your brain out of it. Cade York hits a beautiful ball.
One person up in the parking garage.
up right now. There's just 3 dudes in suits breaking down every single move he makes during his warm-up. What a wild scene here for Trevor Lawrence.
Quarterback, number 9, Joe Burrow.
You're supposed to be some draft expert, and you say Joe Burrow was a 5th-round draft pick before this year. Now he's number 1 overall. What do you know? What do you know, Todd? Tim, you are so handsome, it's ridiculous. What do you think has been happening this first quarter? Why has Joe Burrow been stumped by this Clemson defense?
I think Brent Venables is the best DC in the country, and it's honestly not a shock to me. He did this to Tua last year.
Odell Beckham just stopped by.
Odell's very excited.
Odell's happy with the 52-yard attempt coming from the kid from Clemson. I've seen Odell make this with a spinning ball. And BT Potter puts it through from 52 in Odell's. Not in your face. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't in your face. You weren't looking at it.
That's a career high for BT Potter.
Bro, imagine Joe Burrow just having to stand in there and know that Isaiah Simmons is scot-free right in your suckle. That's a bad call. No chance Alberto Riverrod would turn that over. He was in the Buccos organization.
I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Hey, welcome back. Should have kept it as a surprise. Because when you get all hyped up like that, you know.
Oh, it sets you up for.
Yeah, bad things happen.
It's just absolute failure. Misery. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. We decided, you know, well, answer some phone calls before we have Stone Cold Steve Austin. We decided that.
Yeah.
Didn't we? We decided that.
Said, hey, you know what, Steve? Just give us 5 minutes.
We need 5. All right, we need a hot 5, maybe 10, maybe 15. What? Maybe 20. What? Maybe 25.
Maybe see it 2.
Maybe see it 2. Maybe see it 2:15. Hey, you want to call in after? Do what you got to do. What we're saying is we have not been able to get a hold of Steve Austin, so we will currently answer a phone call in place of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let's go to Zach in Minnesota. Zach, what's going on, bub?
How's it going, boys? Happy birthday, Ty.
Thanks, dude.
Birthday time.
Happy birthday time.
You're in a terrible spot right now, though. Everybody's expecting Stone Cold Steve Austin. Instead, we got Zach in Minnesota, which is electrifying. What do you want to talk about, Zach?
Well, shit. Well, I was, sorry, Tony, I was watching some TikToks yesterday, and I came across an NFL rule that caught my eye.
Okay.
All right, so it's in punting situations. This is why I called into you. End of the quarter, or end of the half, or end of the game, fair catch, free kick.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be end of half, end of game. That would be the only time it would make sense to do, though, Zach, great call. So whenever we were back in high school, it's called a fair kick, I believe. I believe it's called a fair kick, I think. So basically, it's happened a couple times. Mason Crosby tried one, I believe. A couple other people have tried one. Punter punts the ball. You have to fair catch it. instead of doing anything where he fair caught it at, you send your kickoff team onto the field. Somebody holds it for you. There's no tee or anything like that. And if the kicker kicks it through the uprights, it's 3 points. So a lot of people think end of half, end of game. When there's only like 3 seconds, 4 seconds left, you time out. They have to punt it. They're backed up. You have the call out there where you actually have 3 returners out on the field. We used to practice it. Everybody's job is, hey, you just fair catch this thing. Boom, we go out. There was a certain distance. If it was further, I would kick it. Vinny would hold it. If it was in front of it, I would hold it. Vinny would kick it, and then the kickoff team was out there. There's been a couple attempts at it in the NFL. Back in high school, our head coach, Bill Ramito, it was like, I think, one of his favorite things he loved that he knew that nobody else knew. And he would always have, before every single game, he would talk to the ref and me about it, the situation. He was like, we're going to do it. We are going to do it. Somebody's going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to send him out there to kick it. Never did it. Never done it in my life. Practice it probably hundreds of times at this point. Never done it. It's a cool situation. Only pops up every once in a while.
The best part about that story is he never relayed that information to anyone else on the team except for you.
Yeah, it was just me and the ref. Yeah, so you guys would have
We never had a plan.
You guys would have just had to stand there, basically. That's what it was. Because you don't have to cover. I mean, sometimes you have to cover. I think Mason did it. I don't know. I feel like it was Mason. He ran into the kickoff. I forget who it was, but the person caught it. And they started returning, so now your kickoff team has to cover, basically. So it's like kind of a double-edged sword. You can do it whenever, though. You can do it whenever in the game. It'd be very stupid to just give up your entire offensive series if you need 3 points and there's still time left on the clock. But I do believe end of quarter, end of half is when it happens. Let's go to Kyle in Canada. We love Kyle in Canada. Let's go, Kyle. Oh, is this a new Kyle in Canada? What's going on, Kyle?
Hey, Merry Christmas to you and the boys.
Hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you as well, Bub. I hope you have a good one up there. Heard Canada's really a great place to be right now. I hope you're...
Backyard rinks, legalized vitamins, and Joe Louis.
That's great. Kyle, we appreciate you calling in. We hope your life is good. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time, okay? This is a big deal, all right? So if you grew up in the 90s and you come from, a working group of a community or anything like that, basically anybody, wrestling was obviously something that captivated the entire globe at the time. Everybody on earth was watching wrestling. And there's a couple faces of the entire thing, but really there was only 2 that carried the entire thing. And obviously one of them is The Rock, who is selling tequila and doing everything like that. And I'm sure a lot of people loved it. But the man that resonated with me, my friends, I would assume with a lot of people that watch this show, ladies and gentlemen, a man who is Stone Cold Steve Oh, sir, thank you so much for joining us. This is massive for us, man. I hope life is good. You're muted.
I'm having a birthday today, and I've been enjoying watching what you're doing.
Well, happy birthday to you. I think we'll end this thing with a toast and a cheers to you for all that you've done. Congrats on another year around the sun, sir. Congrats on another year around the sun. Let's get right into it. Steve, can I call you Steve? Yeah, Stone Cold Steve?
Absolutely.
Steve, when I was a kid, I still wear them now. I mean, I wear jorts because of you. You know what I mean? Your battle with Vince McMahon, I think, gave the entire world about people could live through you telling their boss to go fuck themselves. I mean, like everything you've done, I'm very appreciative of. And I go through your history in wrestling, obviously Stunning Steve and all. Whenever you landed on Stone Cold Steve Austin, how thankful were you? Because it feels like that's who you actually are, and it almost came naturally and easy to you.
And that's part of the process, man, finding out who and what you actually are and who you want to be. And it turns out when I was trying to be Stunning Steve and when I first started off, I think it's like a lot of people, you're kind of almost trying to be a wrestler or pretending to be a wrestler. You have to be a wrestler. And when I found out, like when I was lacing them up to play college football or in high school football or doing anything competitive, man, I'm very intense. And so, professional wrestling, for whatever people think it is very intense and it's very competitive. And from a work aspect, it is what it is. But in a competitive atmosphere, that is who and what I am. And when I discovered that, and then I said, hey, man, let me just start talking all this shit I heard growing up in South Texas. It resonated with people. And then when you identify with that character, that gives you your base from which you have all of your foundation. And so character is so much a part and so important to the business, but you don't pick it up initially because you're so caught up in trying to learn how to work, just the mechanics, then the psychology. But, man, it really starts and stops with an identity, and Stone Cold is who and what I am, 24/7.
Yeah, well, I think that's why you've had so much success since being in wrestling or whatever. And Straight Up Steve Austin, by the way, Season 2 debuts Monday, January 11th on USA after Monday Night Raw. There's been some memorable moments from that show that has come out. Also, your podcast on WWE Network is awesome. It is must-watch every single time. I really appreciate everything you do. Kind of give us a look behind the scenes of something that I was a massive fan of growing up. Whenever older wrestlers come back to the WWE, they always, obviously not now because of quarantine and everything being shut down, but you hear them talk about how they hope that the fans remember them, right? They always that's like a conversation piece. They're like, when I go through that curtain, I hope the fans remember me. And no matter how big the star is, I feel like a lot of people have said that. It feels like still to this day, and probably until you're done on this planet, when that glass hits in an arena, the place is going to explode. Is there ever a time where that gets old to you? Because it still happens every single time you go out there. It has to be fucking awesome that anytime you walk into a place, first of all, there's push, and then everybody loses their mind. Even in a time where crowds don't do that anymore, does that ever get old to you?
Man, if that feeling ever got old to anybody, you might as well hit them in the head with a shovel and just get them out of the way. You live and die by that. You've got to go out there in front of some crowds. It is what it is right now. And plus being on the football field, dude, you know what it's like. And you live and die by that because it's that affirmation. It's like, hey, man, yeah, these motherfuckers still remember. And, because now it's almost a thing like, hey, man, Austin's here is going to get this hellacious pop. I got to see it to believe it. So when it keeps happening, it's still like, you live and die by it. Yeah, it's everything because you would think, dude, I retired in 2003 and I wish I could have rode, down the road a few more years, but it was what it was. And so when you've been gone that long, people can forget. But I guess, and I ain't blowing smoke up my ass, but I guess I resonated with the crowd so much that they still remember. And I got to give a lot of props to, the WWE Network and those video games that they keep coming up with that keep guys like me and all my peers kind of still fresh in people's minds. So it is badass. And I'm so appreciative of it because, dude, I remember, getting suplexed in Chevrolet dealerships way back in the day in Dallas, Texas, and working in front of shit crowds all over Tennessee. Territory was down. And then finally you make something, you come up with this character that is still resonating with people and they know who that guy is. It's badass.
It doesn't sound like it now, and I don't think anybody would blame you. Do you ever wonder if the pop is still going to be there? Does that ever happen for you? And you talk about other people saying, I want to experience this in person, because whenever I was doing NXT events, Adam Cole, who's a scumbag, by the way. Absolute scumbag. Fucking loser. Absolute fucking loser, that guy. But whenever he would do the Adam Cole Bay at these takeovers, it was the only time at the takeovers that the entire crowd, now granted they would cheer for things and the NXT crowd is awesome, but hearing that, it was like back in the day almost. And there was a couple times where I think Michael Cole was next to me. He was like, wait till you hear this or whatever. And it goes and it's awesome. And the thought of people going to you like, oh, I can't wait until the glass shatters tonight. Is there ever a thought for you that it's potentially not going to come, or are you just at the point where you're like, whenever they say that, they're like, yeah, wait till you fucking hear it, by the way, and then just kind of walk by?
No, you never take it for granted. And, we'll see when crowds come back. And, one of these days down the road, I get to appear at another WWE event. No, you don't take it for granted. You're hoping it's there. And when it is there, yeah, like I said, it's that shot of adrenaline up your ass. It's mind-blowing. And there's nothing like it. If you could bottle it and sell it, you'd be a billionaire. But no, you never just think it's going to be there or you're like, yeah, I got this shit. It ain't like that, man. It's nothing but appreciation. And then that's that blood, sweat, and tears and living that life and putting in the miles and, the people living vicariously through all the storylines. And they remember that shit. And the younger crowd, for some reason, they're in as well. So you never expect it or just count on it to happen, Pat.
Well, I'll never tell you what to think, but you should expect it forever, I'd assume. You've done a lot for a lot of people, including myself. I mean, there was a lot of us that our lives, we escaped watching you in the run that you guys had, whether it was you and, whether it was you and The Rock or you and Vince McMahon. You and Vince McMahon is maybe one of the best storylines in the history of wrestling. And hey, do you still talk to him at all? Do you still get a chance to interact with him? And how do you guys kind of, how do you feel about each other?
Well, the last time I talked to Vince was down there in Tampa when I went down there to cut a promo in front of an empty crowd. And this was kind of right when COVID started. And it was really strange. And I wasn't happy with the creative because I wanted to just sit down and, maybe do an interview with Byron Saxton or something to kind of talk about something that was a shoot. And Vince says, God damn, Steve, he goes, people are just going to be in a bad way. Just go out there and entertain them and do this promo. I went back to his trailer 3 times. So anyway, I ended up doing a promo. It sucked. It was hard. I really appreciate how the superstars have adapted and overcome all that. And now they have the Thunderdome to help with some crowd noise. But to answer your question, that was the last time I got a chance to talk to him. I'm sure he's going to call me or text me happy birthday today. But, man, our relationship is strong. And when we were feuding there for damn near 2 years, I love that guy. And I'm sure he probably loved me too. But, man, there was a lot of, for a shoot, a lot of times some animosity there, when I did some of the things I did. But, I got nothing but respect for the guy, and we're in a real good place.
For those that don't know, shoot means for real. Work means you get it. For instance, Ariel Helwani and Booker T, we all think for shoot there. I think that's a shoot at this particular point. Might end up being a work or whatever. Whenever you look back on your career, coolest night, do you have one?
Man, there were so many of them. Stunning Vince at MSG because the Garden's such a special building. Going to 13 with Brett, doing that double turn because the Chicago crowd is great. That Rosemont, because of the acoustics, the building is incredible. 17, lighting it up with The Rock, one of my favorite opponents. There's been so many of them that I couldn't just single out one. And, my days when I was starving, after 2 months in the business, I was driving a forklift, loading and unloading trucks. Jerry Jarrett had just brought the territory in Dallas from Fritz Von Erich. Hell, man, they was beating the shit out of me on Friday nights and Saturday mornings with kendo sticks and leather weightlifting belts because I was this little baby face coming up with this long blonde hair, somewhat of a physique because I just got finished playing football at North Texas State. And I asked Jerry Jarrett, I said, hey, man, when can I start working full time? He says, hell, Steve, I think you're ready now. We'll send you to Memphis in 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, I was driving down the highway to Mid-South Coliseum in my base model 1988 Hyundai Excel. Woo! Payments were $154 a month. And I starved my ass off. And some of those days, starving and paying your dues and going through the process and riding down the road with the veterans, and they're sitting there dropping all this 411 on you and trying to help a brother out with information. Those are some of the most fun times of my life, just traveling down the road with the guys in the car, drinking beer.
Listening to you and Undertaker talk to each other on your podcast while drinking a bottle of Jack, I believe, an entire bottle, I think was done. It was awesome, by the way. And the fact that it was on WWE Network still is magical to the entire brand. But the conversations about the behind-the-scenes stuff, and I think that was where I first heard the story about him drinking Cypress Hill to sleep or whatever. I think was during that conversation. But there's a story, and I don't think I've heard it from people inside the business, just others. Did you used to drink beer with the crowds after shows? Was that something you used to do? You go in the ring and just drink more? Because, by the way, before we get to that, your catch percentage had to be 100% there for because those beers are coming out. You used to snag those. Now, granted, you missed one or two, I think, whenever you came back with the new IPAs. I think you missed one or two, which was shocking, I will say. But back in the day, you might have been the most shorthand catcher on earth at that point with those beers flying in.
Yeah, I was a running back in high school, and then in junior college, they moved me to linebacker. In North Texas, they moved me to defensive end. I always thought I would have made a little bit of an undersized at 6'2", 220 in my college days, maybe a little bit undersized as a tight end. But God dang, I could catch a football, and I could damn sure catch a beer. And shit, man, if someone's going to throw you beers, and that's part of your job, make damn sure you catch them. But there wasn't too many I dropped. And I'll give a shout out to the bell ringer, the timekeeper, Mark Yeaton. He was the guy who would launch those beers, and sometimes, I'd be in the ring, and he'd be launching them, and I'd be over in different parts of the ring, and he had one of the best arms ever. And sometimes I'd be way across the ring, damn near up on the ramp, and I'd give him the signal, and he'd kind of shake me off like, I don't know if I should throw it. I said, no, motherfucker, if I signal it, you throw it. And so he would launch him, and goddamn, if I didn't catch it, that thing was going to careen off my hand and hit somebody in the head. So, the stakes were high. I used to tell people towards the end, man, shit, I was drinking for a living, get paid for drinking. I was getting paid to drink for a living and wrestling on the side.
Anytime. I mean, we watched your best of earlier. There's like 10 of them on YouTube. Yeah. We watched them this morning. The moments where you would come in, not say a word, obviously, like you would stun somebody, they were dead, then beers. It's just like, let's play the hits here. That's basically what it was. Glass break, stunner, beers, out. It was just, what a night.
One time, a lot of times we would do that at TV taping just because the crowd was there and they'd crash the music and I'd go back down. Maybe, I'd already done an interview or wrestled a match and I'd go out there just to entertain the crowd, just to, make sure they came back happy. And one time I just kept staying out there, somewhere in New York, somewhere, where the union was involved. And finally I went in and Vince called me to his office the next day and he goes, "God damn, Steve." He goes, "You cost me $14,000 extra last night, overtime on the crew." So he's calling me out. He goes, "I just cost him 14 extra G's just for that crew to stay overtime." And so I'm like, "I'll split it with you." He goes, "God damn," he goes, "I don't want your money. I'm just telling you." He goes, "Come on in a little bit earlier." We used to do that shit all the time. And towards the end, Kevin Dunn in the truck, he'd finally just get on the horn to the house. He'd go, "Steve, come on in." So that's how we rolled back in the day, man. We're going to give you your money's worth.
So what did you do? The show's over. Okay, now the fans are still there. Glass would break one more time. Normally there's a dark match afterwards between two people you don't know. But your glass would break. Somebody would get a stunner or two. And then you would just go corner to corner, 2 beers. And your beer guy would just be, did he have 30? What's the most beer you did in one night, you think, in one of those shows?
Well, I'll never forget when we went to Japan one time. Dudley, Stacy Keebler. I mean, there were so many people out there. I think we went through 103 or 108. Now, just for myself, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And, here's the thing when some people say, "Oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on you. You don't even know how to drink beer." It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain 20,000 people in an arena. If I just go out there and sip it real properly, how fucking exciting is that? So when you're out there on an empty belly and you're shotgunning beers and all that shit's going in, the half that was going in was for me. The half that was going on was for them.
Nice.
But I'm telling you, Pat, when you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
I would assume you were pretty fucked up, yeah. By the way, we in your honor, probably should have asked, I guess, but there's no way I could have got a hold of you to this. We had Stone Cold season where we were trying to promote all of our followers. Instead of drinking beers, just go ahead and Stone Cold every beer that you have. And there's a lot of people that didn't know what the fuck they were doing, to be honest with you. But I feel like that Stone Colding, it still is making another run too, just like everything else for you. So congrats on all that, man.
Oh, man, it's been great.
When did you start self-cheersing? When did you start self-cheersing? Was that something you did in college? You're like, hey, Steve, good for me, man. Like, when did that start?
No, you know what? I got to give credit to Sandman for starting that, but he was bashing him off his head, and I don't remember, and it wasn't because Sandman was doing it, so I don't want to say I copied him, but he was the first. So, and then my style was, because people always get us confused. They'll say, "Yeah, man, you used to bang them on your head." No, motherfucker, I was the guy that clacked them together. It was just something we came up with. I don't know how the beers got introduced to the ring, but it became a thing, and we ran with it, and it worked great. And so all these years later, people still doing it. And I guess Stone Colding a beer is a thing now.
Oh, yeah.
But people have been drinking beer for hundreds and thousands of years. So hell, I'm proud of the fact that I got my own beer to drink, because tonight, I've been I just got finished filming my show, Straight Up Steve Austin, and we were lucky to get that in the can because of COVID. So that's going to season premiere on January 11th on USA after Raw. But, I had to get in shape for that show, and I dropped, when COVID first hit, I got that COVID-15 like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But I was drinking margaritas and drinking beers and shit like that. So I got all tuned up. I went down to 230, Pat.
Oh.
I ain't been 230 since I was in college. So now that I'm kind of at a relaxed state, I'm going to be banging them some bitches together, and I'm going to be crushing a few Broken Skull IPAs tonight.
Yeah, as you should for your birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. I know the boys got a lot of questions for you. Do you have some time still? Yeah.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Hey, Nick, what do you got?
Steve, you had so many vintage moments with Vince, the Zamboni into the ring, the beer truck, filling his Camaro or Corvette up with cement. Did you guys come up with that together? Were those all his ideas? Were they your ideas? How did that work?
Man, those were mostly all of their ideas. Like, I mean, I'm not going to – it'd be hard for me to say, you know what, Vince, I'm going to drive a monster truck. It's going to have 1,800 horsepower, and I'm going to crush a Lincoln Town Car on live TV. You know, and here's the thing about this is shoot. They bought that gold Lincoln Continental that was the rocks, allegedly, off the showroom floor. That's the kind of money they were willing to put in behind this stuff. And I learned how to drive the monster truck right before we went on live TV. You know, so I can drive anything on wheels. And going back to that Corvette thing with the cement, they didn't have a mark for me to hit, and that was a different kind of cement truck. The way I had to pull those levers for all that stuff to fall down, I nailed it because it's live TV and you can't fucking fail. And when they told me I was going to be destroying a brand new Corvette because I'm such a car fan, I was like, man, do we got to really fill the Corvette up with cement? I said, because I was trying to get the Corvette after the gig, right? Give it to me. The icing on the cake was when that damn glass broke on the passenger side. Yeah. So it was badass. That was a Nassau Coliseum. I'll never forget it. But they thought of those ideas. And, you know, Pat, sometimes we'd be dragged out on the road so many times. You know, you get tired. And, you know, shit ain't going great at the house or whatever. It's a grind. Your back's killing you. You're all fucked up. Being on the road is a grind, but it's the best job and the most fun I've ever had. Then all of a sudden, you find out that you're tearing the shit out of a damn Continental. You're driving a monster truck. You're filling a Corvette full of cement. Those, you know, going to Monday Night Raw was like therapy for me because that was where I could unleash hell. It was on somebody else's dime, and people were eating it up.
I mean, the hospital bed, the grocery store. I mean, there's just you dressed up as a fireman. I mean, there is just we ran through them all this morning, and it was like we were kids again. But I think something that you started that is still happening. I mean, is still what? Oh. What? I was watching some videos of you cutting some promos before I had to go cut a bunch of them, right? I started watching you. I watched The Rock, obviously. I watched some Degeneration X talk before I went out there just to kind of catch the vibe. You know, I'm trying to get back in the vibe of it because I thought I wanted to be a little bit different, maybe a throwback style or whatever. But I was watching a couple, and it was before the crowd had started doing the what. But you were saying something, and you ended it with what? Like you said something, you didn't even let him answer, and I found it very hilarious. But I also was like, oh, this must have been in the early stages of what? How did that come to be? And it is amazing. Still to this day, whenever you have somebody that cuts a promo like this, and you know that they're thinking, and the entire time they stop every fourth word. And the crowd is like, what? Like, it's still going on. It is electric. How'd you think of that? How did that start? And were you surprised to see it catch on as quickly as it did?
You know, very surprised that it caught on like it did. But I started that when I was a heel. And I remember calling Christian up one day on the road, and he didn't answer his phone. So I left him this message, and I was telling him, you know, just talking shit. You know how you leave prank messages for guys. Oh, yeah. And then I would say something, and I would go, what? And I'd say something else. And I said, what? And I was like, oh, man, I think I got something here. I got to put it in context. But, you know, so then on the stick, you know, in the ring as a heel, I'd be dressing somebody down or whatever, ask them a question, and I'd say, what? You know, kind of like, you know, it's kind of like really fucking with somebody. And then as a baby face, you know, with the crowd, you know, with creating that cadence and that pause, it just turned into a thing. And then we turned it into a T-shirt. So who would have ever thought, you know, someone could get over, I'm not blowing smoke up my ass, but who would have ever thought a sumbitch could get over a word like what and make it a thing? But that's how it started. And, you know, Kurt Angle and some of my other opponents were so good about working in the frustration and putting in that pause for the crowd to give the feedback to further infuriate them. So it worked for everybody that did it. And for the people that says, hey, man, stop the what stuff. It's the worst thing ever invented because it's fucking up promos. No. If you're not smart enough to leave out the pause, then you don't know how to do a promo. You can outsmart the fucking what. You know what I mean?
I thought that as well. As I'm watching and people are doing it, you see them getting mad, and I'm like, I think they're mad for shoot right there. I think that's a real anger right there that the crowd's doing it. It was like, well, just keep talking there then. Just go ahead and power right through it. Man, we watched you this morning. You undressed Undertaker, and he wanted a shot at the title or whatever. He said, "You think you deserve a championship because you have dead man on your shirt?" What? The crowd went, "What? What's that mean? You're dead? What? What? You don't have any blood? What? Your heart doesn't beat? What?" The crowd started doing. When you're out there and you started going, were those scripted? Were you trying to just break the other person? What was the mindset when you were going out there?
No, man, that's really about a 90% ad lib. You might think about it for a second. A lot of times when I was thinking of rattling off liquors, that I was going to drink, whether it's Coach or someone like that doing an interview, I'm thinking, goddamn, because I got my staples, but it's not like, I know every type of alcohol that there is out there. So, hell, I'm sitting there in my damn head trying to think of, hey, don't look like a dumbass here. Keep it going. So it's really just riffing out there and having fun, and it's okay to repeat stuff as well. So, I'm not a rocket scientist. I just think people were digging what I was doing, and I was having fun doing it.
Yeah, well, it was amazing.
When you're thinking too much out there, Pat, it ain't worth the shit.
I don't think at all.
I've been watching your promos, and I'm going to talk about you for a second, man. Dude, you've been lighting people up on the horn, so I know you've got to always kind of have the ability, well, obviously the success of your show, the articulation, the eloquation, and the intelligence to put together, just a sharp-ass promo that, makes people feel something, whether you're riling them up, pissing them off, or whatever. It's the ability to put out information, people process it, and then also the attitude and the delivery with which you're putting it out at. So congrats to you.
Oh, well, thank you. That means a lot. You called me badass the other day. I wish I could hang it on my fridge like the old days. One of the coolest things I've ever heard. Thank you for that. We have a question from @Viva La Zito in here. Big fan, by the way. Zito, what do you got?
Mr. Stone Cold, best match ever. What is it?
Man, I had so many on the road. I had a 30-minute Broadway with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at the LA Forum, and there wasn't no cameras there because it was just a house show. And that was one of my best matches. And, because I'm such a huge Steamboat fan, and him and Flair had the trilogy and some of the best matches of all time in the history of the business. But, probably just for crowd feel and for what it was, I got to go to 13 with Brett. I got to go to 17 with Rock. 14, me winning the title from Shawn wasn't a great match. Shawn's, one of the best talents in the history of the business, but those two would be at the top. I love my match that I had with Benoit and Edmonton on SmackDown. About 20 minutes. We had worked the night before. They shorted us on time, and I came up with this comeback for him. I said, I'm seeing 10 belly to back suplexes, whatever they were. I said, I'm not seeing a traditional comeback. And I said, if they tell us to go home, I said, fuck it. We're going to go as long as I want to. I got the heat. We went out there and ripped it up. So I was really proud of that match too.
Well, by the way, congrats to you. Just being like, well, I think I've earned this right to do this. How do you feel about the way this man's dressed right now, by the way? You kind of powered right through that.
What do you mean? Dude, I know.
What?
I love it.
I love you. Ty, what do you got?
Stone Cold, have you considered continuing to act, or is that something you're kind of putting on the back burner? Because The Condemned is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I just didn't you had that run there where you were just coming out hit after hit after hit. Are you more focusing on your show, or are you going to get back into acting at all?
No, would I act? I would. But when I came out to LA, that was, I got forced into retirement. Well, I needed to retire. So I did. And I spent 3 years wasting time hunting, fishing, drinking, and doing a lot of stupid shit. Not necessarily in that order. And finally, I told myself, I said, dude, I didn't want to go back to driving a forklift after you'd been on top of the wrestling world. So I said, you better take your ass out to Los Angeles and see what you can do out there in that world, because you still have somewhat of a name. Because I didn't have an exit strategy, because I didn't want to exit. I took my ass out to L.A. and moved in with Diamond Dallas Page. He had a condo, and I rented a room for him, and I fucked around out there for another year and a half. And finally, we started making them low-budget movies. You can call them independent movies if you want to, but these were low-budget. And we did The Condemned, and that was a high-budget movie. They spent $20 million on that movie, and I had a blast filming that one. And I was thinking at the time, man, I got to learn how to become a really good character, or whatever the movie calls for me to be. Hell, if I'd have been smart, I would have just done Stone Cold
at all times.
To answer your question, yeah, fuck. But now it's like, I'm not antisocial. I like being around people. But I don't like to. Being on a set is kind of like, would I do it? Yes. But being on a set is kind of like doing the same shit over and over and over and over again. And I hate fight scenes because I was, a professional wrestler at a very high level. And that's like a dance out there, man. People think, it's choreographed. Bullshit. You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. That's knowing how to work. So there's a lot of things I don't like about that. I love hosting my show, Straight Up Steve Austin. I love that. I love doing the Broken Skull sessions. Awesome. I love being busy, and I want to keep being productive, but it's not something that I aspire to be. At one time in my life, it was a means to an end. As a means to an end, it led me to hosting and reality television, and that's what I'm really enjoying now because I do that. I film that. Then I go do my other shit. I go get on my damn four-wheelers and my side-by-sides, and I ride up in the mountains. I get the fuck out and have a good time.
Hey, your dog's a superstar, too. Love following along with the dog. Tony Diggs, what's your question?
Mr. Cold, when you were talking about acting and in The Longest Yard, and you talked about how your football playing career, when you got those pads back on, did it bring back some type of feeling, and how hard was it not to just lay somebody out when they were coming through the hole?
Well, the rib was... They didn't have a fucking stunt double for me. When we filmed that movie, we started off in New Mexico. It was hotter than blazes. You're standing out in the sun. Pat, I got up to 275 for that. Oh. They had me playing running back.
Good for the knees. Good for the knees.
You know when you're trying to run through those footballs? I mean, you're trying to run through those tires and you're holding the football? Yeah. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? They don't have a stunt double for Stone Cold Steve Austin? And then afterwards, me and Kevin Nash, we'd go to the bar at the hotel we were staying at, and the cast and crew, they could not believe the calamity of the volume of alcohol that we were putting down over the course of 3 months. They couldn't fucking believe it. So that's coming from that. I was bringing my pro wrestling background. Yeah. And just to comment further on that movie, it was a real fun movie, and Adam Sandler is such a class act. But if you remember the one time, I believe it was Bob Sapp, when he clotheslined me when I had the football, when I shit myself. Now, because, when I do act, I am method, I actually shit myself.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I segued from the question. I just got caught up telling different stories.
That's all we're here for, pal. If we could just listen to your stories for the next 5 hours, that would be beautiful. And thank you for your time. The Rock, how come there hasn't been a movie where you're Steve Austin and he's The Rock? It just feels like this is an easy make here. It would be a worldwide #1 box office success within a matter of time. How come that hasn't happened yet?
Well, I think that might mess with his credibility a little bit. I think he's worked long and hard. And people forget how long he's been out there in the acting world now. He's been out there longer acting than he was in wrestling. And so although he will always be known as a wrestler and one of the top entertainers of all time, he's the biggest movie star in the world. So I think he takes his credibility very serious, and he doesn't need me to do a buddy flick with him to stay on top, being the #1 guy. So, it is what it is, and I'm not looking to do that movie, by the way. So that's why. but I mean, if The Rock wanted to do that movie, then all he'd have to do was say, hey, dude, come up with this. Yeah. Is it going to happen? No.
No.
But people always ask me, that's why. I think it's, really the integrity of his career, and he doesn't need to do it, and I wouldn't press him to do it anyway.
Oh, man. You're awesome, dude. We powered right through our heart out with Sirius. We have another one coming here in about a minute. I mean, we've just been talking on YouTube here for the last 5 minutes or so. The internet loves you, dude. Like, it is whenever we found out you were coming on the show, I was so pumped, man. You are everything that they make you out to be, bub.
You know what? We were supposed to get together a long time ago on a podcast.
Yeah.
And then I'll reach out and we'll swap numbers, but I'll stay in touch with you. Because the hell, at first, I was like, this dude ain't serious. You know what the fuck he's talking about? He didn't even talk to me. I don't know how big of a wrestling fan you were. So shit, man. And I wasn't trying to dish you all those days. But yeah, I'm glad to talk to you, and let's stay in touch.
Yeah, you got it, ladies and gentlemen. Living legend, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Happy. Oh wait. I made a. I have a. It doesn't matter where you're at. Go ahead and raise your glass wherever you may be, whatever you're drinking. To the man that chugged some beer and kicked some ass. who once said fuck fear and broke some glass. A man who was a hero to the working class and told his boss to kiss his ass. A man who's in the Hall of Fame, should be every day. Happy birthday, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Cheers to you, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good one,
Thanks,
brother.
Pat. Appreciate you guys.
What a fucking legend. All right. We're live in 4, 3, 2. You guys got it back there? No. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here on this Feel Good Friday, December 18th, 2020. Big shout out to Stone Cold Steve Austin in the last hour. Also, Steve Kornacki. Shout out to Steve Kornacki. Great conversation there. Sorry to serious listeners. You don't cut off Steve Austin when he's talking. That's on me completely. You didn't miss much, by the way. You only missed like 4 or 5 more minutes or whatever where he answers some questions or whatever. But what a fucking legend that guy is.
Jeez.
Dude, he's still yoked, by the way. If you couldn't see him, he has a vascularity coming right down his arm, man. He is all
on the
yoked.
ranch every day, just doing ranch things.
He is doing ranch stuff. Joining us here in a couple minutes will be AJ Hawk, I assume, at some point. We'll talk to him. There's a bunch of games this weekend. Diggs,
yeah.
When you talk about a Saturday back-to-back doubleheader, when you talk about Bills at Broncos tomorrow, and first of all, for the Broncos, Taylor Russolino's kicking tomorrow.
Come on, hell yeah. Come on.
Let's go Russolino for the Broncos. He's kicking tomorrow for the Broncos. I'm pumped for him. FanDuel's doing something really cool in Colorado. For every kick he makes, if you're in Colorado and you bet on the money line of Broncos and Bills game, doesn't matter which team you bet on, but if you bet on the money line, for every kick that Taylor Russolino makes, whether it's a field goal or an extra point, Bud Light is going to give you a $3 bonus.
Whoa. Really?
Wow. Yeah, just into your credit, so into your account or whatever. I think you have to bet $25 on the money line. I would assume you're going to pick the Broncos if you're in Colorado, but if you're a Bills fan in Colorado, or if you're just in Colorado right now and you're listening to this, you go on FanDuel, and if you bet on the money line $25 at least, did the whole microphone just go out right there?
For one second.
Yeah, okay. So I thought my ears just popped. But if you bet $25 on the money line for the Broncos or the Bills, for every Taylor Russolino made kick, their Bud Light is just going to drop $3 into your account. Wow. I think he's going to have a big day. But you're talking about a massive back-to-back lineup on Saturday. Bills, Broncos, Panthers, Packers. I'm here for it, by the way. I wish they would do it all goddamn year.
When you get to this point in the season and you start NFL games start popping up on Saturdays, you know it's go time. The weather's changing. College football is pretty much almost done. Like the hair on your arm starts standing up because you know the tournament's right around the corner. And Saturday football is nothing better than having NFL on Saturday.
Hey, listen, that's why Roger Goodell says when he's at the draft, he says, I watch NFL football right here. He can now watch football on Saturday as we can, NFL football, and also a lot of conference championships. Joining us now, a man from The Ohio State. I don't know if you saw us, AJ, but the last guest on the show was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah!
Let's go, AJ. What?
I actually, I had to jump on to watch that interview you had with your hero, Mr. Cold. It was just, it was an amazing thing.
Yeah, Diggs going to Mr. Cold was rather electric. It's Ty's birthday, AJ. He texted me happy birthday to Ty this morning, AJ.
Oh, happy birthday. Thanks, AJ. You could have just texted me.
No, he texted me to tell you happy birthday, Ty. Wow. You know what you said, AJ?
Yes, happy birthday. I wanted to say it to him live on air for the show.
Yeah, that's what he actually told me was, hey, I want to have a moment on the show to say happy birthday to Ty live. So, AJ, by all means.
Ty, I want to say happy birthday. I would have said it on Twitter, but I knew you had Twitter, and it doesn't work when you say happy birthday on Twitter because the virtue signal Twitter is when my 97-year-old grandma has a birthday, and I post pictures of her, and I say how beautiful she is, how amazing she is, and I want to wish her a happy birthday, and she's never even heard of Twitter. That's what like a non-friend does.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, by the way, welcome to Twitter. It's a pander party, baby. That's what it is out there. Speaking of pandering, have you seen this? What's going on? What?
I missed that. Was that like that for the interview?
Yeah. He actually asked Mr. Cold a question, and I don't know if Mr. Cold was just trying to be professional and be like, I don't know what's going on with that guy, but and then he said he loved it or whatever. And Zito's been dressed like this since 8 a.m. this morning, so it's been a little bit tough.
This is my normal outfit, though.
You were Stone Cold Zito, what, last Halloween?
Last Halloween, yeah. We were in Waco.
Yeah. Stone Cold Zito was awesome.
What?
What?
Zito's got those high-end Walgreens knee braces on.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, they're actually Dick's Sporting Goods, but no big deal.
They're a level above the Walgreens one. Have a little bit of respect. Ohio State, do they win by at least 19 tomorrow, you think, against Northwestern?
Wow, the line is 19?
Yeah, it's 18.5 or 19 at this point, yeah.
Northwestern.
Oh, 19 and a half, actually. It is moved. It's 19 and a half.
Man, they really, yeah, you would think if they play well, they should win by more, but you never know. It's a tough one.
That's not an answer. I mean,
come on.
Do you want me to make a pick? I mean, if I'm
make a pick.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say Ohio State is chomping at the bit. Have we heard anything else, though, about the potential COVID situation there?
It is very interesting that every other team where there's a potential positive, normally the news comes out immediately afterwards that 50 to 60 players are out because of this. But with Ohio State, star wide receiver potentially has it. Not another word is said. So maybe that's a false positive. They're trying to figure it out. Or maybe this is, just we're in a wild time right now. But I don't think it matters as long as that guy's playing. If that guy's playing and Ryan Day's telling the boys, like, hey, everybody's talking about us. It's minus 1250 money line, by the way. Go ahead and bet $0 on that thing and win the same exact amount if you bet $1,000. But the interesting thing is, I think Ryan Day, who's a good motivator, right, is going to be able to tell these boys, like, hey, like everybody's been talking about how we're getting special treatment. Let's just go ahead and beat these guys by 40 to 50 points today. Isn't that kind of how Ryan Day operates?
I think absolutely, yeah. I mean, he was going to put up 100 on Michigan. Like, that was the plan because of stuff Harbaugh said. Like, Ryan Day absolutely is that guy. And I think I heard even Sean Wade, the star corner for the team, said, like, yeah, we know we need to blow these guys out. Like, he didn't say we need to win. He's like, we need to blow them out. And so I think it's that's absolutely what they will be trying to do. Now, will they be able to execute? I don't know. We'll see.
Ohio State, if it gets up to minus 20, minus 21, minus 22, minus 23, stop there. Stop it. I think they'll win by at least 24. Wow. I'm hammering Ohio State. Go. I'm pumped to get back on that thing. And there's a reason people in conferences and everybody changes rules for that Ohio State team. Now, Indiana gave them all they could fucking handle, okay? And Indiana is a relentless squad. And I just learned that Tom Allen's buyout's like $27.7 million, by the way.
Wow.
So we were thinking potentially Tom Allen out of Indiana. Not 100% sure he's going anywhere for at least a little bit. And they're going to have a good team for a while. Shout out to Bloomington being a great city here in Indiana, good team. They played Ohio State well. But that Ohio State team is like the Kansas City Chiefs, it feels like. Whenever they have to, they will. I don't think they expected Indiana to be the team that they were. Kind of caught them on their heels a little bit with the Big Ten championship and the way Ryan Day operates about, like, he's okay with blowing teams out. Like, I think they cover by a lot and set a tone going into the college football playoff with what everybody's been talking about.
Well, don't you think they hear everything? They hear everyone saying, like, oh, it's unfair what they're doing. They put you in there. You're in the top 4. So he knows, like, it's not going to look good for us if we go out and we just squeak a victory out and we win by 7 points. Like, no, they need it. They need to dominate from start to finish.
Well, and also a lot of they've been going to parties on campus, a lot of those guys.
That's what it seems
So they've
like.
been hearing a lot of the people on campus talk about it as well.
Yeah.
Also tomorrow, yeah. What are you laughing about?
Are they even I feel like college kids, even before COVID, aren't even on campus anymore. They're all online.
Oh, no, they're going
That's
wild.
what you think.
Oh, so Columbus a ghost town?
I mean, it sounds like campus is, yeah.
Well, you'd know more than us, I guess, because you're in Columbus, but I just assumed those kids were drunk right now.
Yeah.
Blacked out. What? It's Stone Cold Steve Austin's birthday. What? It's Ty Schmidt's birthday. What? Those kids are bonging beers from noon till midnight, and it turns out the Ohio State football players are potentially doing the same goddamn thing because they're better than everybody. That's what people are saying, not us. I'm just telling you what people are saying. They're wrong, those people?
Yeah, they must be. I am unaware anything like that happening. I don't know of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because literally you can get COVID just from your DoorDash person showing up at your house.
So you explained the grocery store yesterday.
Oh, when I went to that
These
grocery
places.
store, you get the cart, then you sanitize the cart.
Yeah.
Should be the opposite way, shouldn't it?
Remember when, like, the whole thing, like, you had to wear gloves? That went away.
Oh, there's some stats coming out, by the way, about this whole mask thing in some countries.
Oh, yeah. Very
I mean, California is what? They're on jail right now, and they had their highest.
Might be a lot of stuff coming out this
How
weekend,
long?
Pat.
Oh, no. Come on. We ain't got time.
Come on.
Speaking of this weekend, we got NFL football on Saturday. Aaron Rodgers did an interview on NFL's Instagram yesterday. Did you watch it? Of course you did. How'd you feel like he did? Pretty good.
I did not see this. Was he good?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Him and Kay Adams spoke on the NFL Instagram, and She asked him a question about Baker Mayfield throwing my favorite part of the interview, and also the only part I watched. So I wanted to go in there, show my love, how's it going, put a comment in there, and then kind of bounce out because I had some other things going on. But she talked about Baker Mayfield throwing that long ball where he threw like 70 yards or whatever, 75 yards. And Aaron said, yeah, I think I once threw a ball like 70 yards flat-footed or something like that. And then he actually said the name of the play, what week it was, what year it was, or something like that. And it was kind of like a laugh-off moment or whatever. And I was like, all right, this show is awesome, but I'm going to get the fuck out of here. I can't believe you didn't watch it. You really didn't watch that?
I didn't. When was it on?
You're full of shit. You see everything on the internet. You definitely watched this yesterday. I assume there's a full text exchange between you and A-Rod about how it went, actually.
If I would have seen it, I would have definitely sent him a text saying how he was scared to answer any question. And it was all cliche. I would have made a joke to him for sure, but no, I 100% did not see this.
He was not cliche, by the way. I believe it was a good interview. I was actually pretty proud of him. Tomorrow, though, 2 games. Thank God. NFL games on Saturday. Bills-Broncos, Panthers-Packers. Let's get to the Bills-Broncos game. Broncos are getting 6 points at home against Buffalo. How do you feel this one's going to turn out? Taylor Russolino, ex-XFL kicker, will be kicking for the Broncos tomorrow in his NFL debut.
Yeah. Down to 5.5, Pat.
5.5. We have a line change. It's at 5.5 now. Okay. How do you feel about it, AJ?
Oh, I like the Bills to win, and I absolutely like them to cover.
Yep.
I love the Bills, okay? Like Josh Allen came on the show, but I'd like Taylor Russolino to get like a 56-yard game-winning opportunity.
Game-winning.
Yeah, I would like him to have a game-winning opportunity. The kid bombs balls. Like if he goes on, Brandon McManus, incredible kicker, okay? He'll come back after COVID or whatever. But if Taylor Russolino has a good game tomorrow, prime time on Saturday, by the way, that kid's going to be a kicker for the next 5 to 10 years. Just think about that tomorrow when you're watching the Broncos and you see an extra point. Maybe the Bills are up 20 or whatever, and you see an extra point come on. This is the first time this dude's getting any NFL film, potentially setting himself up for a 5 to 10 year career. You're seeing a guy, life work at 31, so he's been doing this for a long time. That's really cool to me, and I hope he fucking slaughters footballs tomorrow.
Let's go, Taylor.
Let's go. And also, my name is directly attached to him having a job. So if he does well, there's going to be a lot of conversation about, am I the next scout of the future? But if he does not do well, Broncos fans are going to be coming after me for pretty heavy.
Could be an amazing beginning to the consulting career that you have coming for the NFL.
Yeah, just let me watch the kick. Oh, that guy's fucking
Kicker guru.
Kicker guru, Pat McAfee, man who got Taylor Russolino, now the highest paid kicker in the NFL sign. There's a lot of pressure, though. I'm going to hear it if he misses a kick tomorrow. And I'm cool with it because I got nothing but trust in the guy.
I feel bad for the kid because you are a big reason of why he got this job. You put him on the mat. You put him on the radar of Met's dad, but now all of a sudden with how you're talking about it, you're putting so much damn pressure on this kid. Like I hope he doesn't watch anything.
He's in the NFL for the first time. He's got enough pressure. There ain't nothing I'm going to say, but he's going to bomb ball. He is. There's been so many shitty kickers this year that have gotten opportunities that I've never heard of. And I was just watching this kid on his Instagram just bomb balls. I'm like, how are we not signing this? Like, I actually lost faith in the whole NFL process. Like, I lost faith in it. I was like, this kid deserves a shot or whatever. Now he gets it. So even if he misses a kick tomorrow, which might happen, first game, you never know what's going to happen. I think we should maybe understand that there's great kickers missing kicks right now, but he's going to showcase. He's going to get paid. He deserves it. I'm happy for him. How do you feel? You think the Bills hammer that, though? How about the Panthers, Packers? Packers are favored by 7.5 at home.
Is McCaffrey still out?
Yes, I do believe he is out, has been ruled out.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Packers win. I think they cover, too. I honestly do. And I think big reason is because these games are still so meaningful. They want to stay in that number one spot. They want to play at Lambeau in the playoffs. So if they were kind of set where they were, it didn't matter too much. I don't know. I wouldn't be as confident, but I feel good about it.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm going with the Broncos tomorrow strictly because of the Taylor Russolino factor. But I'm also going with the Packers at home. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater as a dog has very good numbers. I mean, Gumpy has a bunch of nukes here that is about to potentially just flex right in our eye hole. What are they, Gumpy?
16-2 as a road dog and 20-4 as a dog in his career.
You listen to those numbers. I mean, that's 36-6 or whatever in games. Basically.
Quick question, Gump. I know you dive into all the stats. How many of those games did he play against Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, just quick question. Can you dive into those stats a little bit deeper? Aaron Rodgers' best offense that he's seen.
Aaron Rodgers against the spread after an against the spread loss is also very good.
How about that?
So it turns out we have counteracting news here.
New collision.
We have stats going against each other. Let's get to a break. We'll answer some phone calls on the other side. Big shout out to Stone Cold Steve Austin for joining us. Steve Kornacki. James Laurinaitis, good dude, by the way. He needs an NFL gig stat.
Yeah, James is awesome. He does some radio for NFL games.
Oh, see? I would never in a million years listen to that, but I would like to see him on the TV.
Yeah,
right. That'd be good. We'll be back on the other side. This is Feel Good Friday, December 18th. Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM. Let me tell you a little story about these statistics. Troy Polamalu, okay? Fucking Troy Polamalu. So we had a fake for the Pittsburgh Steelers that was a 100%er. We didn't even have a cancel the goddamn play because it was a 100%er. If we ever end up in this situation, inside the 7-yard line on the left hash, it is a 100%er that the C gap will be wide open and we will just part the C to the left. It'll be a touchdown. 100%er. We're playing in Pittsburgh, the city I grew up in. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I won the punt, pass, and kick national championship, AJ. National championship, AJ.
Congrats.
AJ, did you ever win the national championship, punt, pass, and kick?
I think I got 3rd or 4th out of 4 at the Nationals.
I'm proud of you, man. Anyways, so we're there in that stadium, okay? A lot of McAfee's in there. A lot of McAfee's in Pittsburgh. I'm going to score my first fucking touchdown, night game, Sunday Night Football, I believe it was, right here, touchdown. We get into that situation. And I'm like, holy fuck, this is really going to happen. We're like on the 6 on the left hash. It's 4th and goal now. Field goal team's jogging on. I'm like, well, fuck, it's about to, I'm ready. I am ready for this to happen. So I get out there. I get down. Vinny's like happy for me. Vinny's like very excited. He's like, let's fucking go. Like Vinny's excited for me at this moment. I'm like, here we go. So I make the call. I forget what it was. So I start saying it, right? And everybody's looking at me like, okay, bright eyes. Here we go. Let's get after it. Offensive linemen are dead ass tired. They do not want to be in the middle of a field goal anyways. So they're just like, all right, I don't give a fuck if you die here, but this should work. Let's get some points. And all of a sudden, I go through my cadence, I call it, I get down, and Troy Polamalu's fucking ass goes ahead for however long his career was at this point. I think it was like 9 years or 8 years at this point. Not a once has he ever gone to this side of the field over here to the left and stood right in the C gap. Never. He lined up exactly where he had lined in film 100% of the time. And then as soon as I got to like the second cadence right before set, he just bounced his little ass right over to the C gap. And I like stopped everything I was doing and I literally just looked at him. And I gave him like what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, why are you there right now? And then I stood up and said, we are kicking it. We have to kick it. We are kicking this. And then I get down, and Vinatieri kicks it, and I jog off the field, and Chuck Pagano comes running up next to me. He's like, hey, good job. What you see? I said, what did I see? Polamalu just fucking went right into the goddamn C gap. What did I see? What did I see? And he goes, okay, sounds good. Good call then. And good call then. And then Vinatieri's like, hey, way to go, buddy. I'm like, way to go? Are we not going to talk about how big of a fucking asshole Troy Polamalu is for what just happened right there? So that's.
I saw the angel of death waiting for me in the C gap.
It's unbelievable. What, you thought I was going to run him over? No way. He's probably going to strip me and score a touchdown the other fucking. That's Polamalu, bro. That ain't just your backyard football with your son. These are professional fucking athletes. He'd probably jump over the lineman, pick me up, and run me into the other fucking end zone if he wanted to. That's what he would have done.
The hard-hitting safety of his generation, too. I mean, Ed Reed, great cover safety. I don't know that you would have feared him, but
Ed Reed, I would have feared Ed Reed. Yeah, if I saw Ed Reed in that C gap, absolutely. E.D. Reed, boy, the best safety you ever seen, boy. I ain't doing shit to Ed Reed.
No, Ed Reed would have made the tackle. I'm saying that Polamalu would have shaved years off your life.
Oh, my God. I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC-regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Welcome back to the show here. Joining us now is AJ Hawk. Something I did miss during the conversation with living legend Steve Austin. A new episode of his podcast, Broken Skull Sessions with Drew McIntyre, will be debuting on the WWE Network this Sunday after TLC. TLC is tables, ladders, and chairs pay-per-view. Shout out to Steve Austin for joining us. I've gone through 2 of those. Never been a part of a ladder operation. Oh, well, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't me, actually. I've only done tables and chairs. Big thanks to Steve Austin, though. That was unbelievable. AJ, I'm kind of bummed you weren't here for it, but to be honest, the tech wouldn't have been able to handle all 3 of us on there. We were just talking about it during the break. I got a phone call from I got 2 phone calls during the break that was like, hey, just want to let you know, 14-year-old me felt like I was 14-year-old me again listening to you talk to Steve Austin there. So that was awesome, man. What a moment.
I was glad just to watch it as a fan of Stone Cold and to see how excited you were. I mean, who doesn't love Stone Cold? It is kind of crazy that everything about him is carried on. Like, there's not many wrestlers that it carries on now. Like, didn't he say he retired in 2003?
Yeah, it's like Ric Flair, by the way, right? So this is like Ric Flair. Ric Flair retires, and he's now maybe even bigger than he's ever been because of social media and clips being rerun and everything. Everybody kind of, wishing they could be all the kids that were fans of Ric Flair growing up and doing their own thing now and kind of carrying that. I feel like that's like the generation of people that were potentially diehard Steve Austin and Rock fans. Now we're in a position where we are doing things. So it's kind of like, you can kind of, I hope for like people that are fans of ours, they become executives at places. You know what I mean? Like that'll be cool because you see a lot of like old timers that aren't very relevant get a lot of like commercials and things. You're like, what the fuck? And you're like, oh, the people making the decision probably big fans whenever they're going through that. That'll hopefully help us later, maybe not. But for Steve, it's like anytime we can talk about what Stone Cold has done for society, I am here for it. What? Hell yeah. You know what I mean? I'm all about it. I love that man.
Do you think there's any like current day wrestlers that'll have that kind of staying power?
Pat McAfee probably.
Hell yeah!
I have no idea.
Adam Cole. Adam Cole will live on.
No.
Adam Cole sucks. Yeah. You know that? We know that.
Rat fuck.
I just loved how easy, Connor. My favorite thing was.
Sorry, I don't like the guy.
I like when Stone Cold's. You hear Stone Cold's reaction when you started killing Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Like he just started dying laughing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This guy gets it.
Yeah. But when Adam Cole does that, by the way, it is awesome in the arena. Pop. It is very, very cool. And what he was saying about cutting promos with no crowds and how difficult it was or whatever, I feel like I'm very lucky that I started with no crowds. You know what I mean? Like I'm just going in there basically doing what we do right now, cutting a promo. So it was like I was pretty comfortable with it. The conversation between me and the cerebral powers that be over there was like, hey, should we wait for you to potentially do this whenever there's a crowd back or whatever? And I'm like, listen, I think that it does not matter to me. Like, you go ahead and just drop me in there or whatever. He's like, all right, we'll see it. But I do believe if I ever get a chance to experience a full arena, I will understand why everybody talks the way they do about the current state of wrestling, how it is much, much different, if I had to guess.
I think you will absolutely thrive if there's an arena full of people and you going back and forth. The only problem is there's time constraints on a match and how long you can hold the mic. Like I can imagine people will be pulling you out of the ring pretty quick.
Yeah, you'll be the old voice of God. Wrap it up! Wrap it up! Oh, you suck. Look at you, little diabetic. I mean, you look like the picture of... Could you imagine me in some random... And by the way, in the wrestling world, you're allowed to do that. Like in the wrestling world, to the wrestling community's credit, okay? Because I used to be a part of it until I realized how dumb the entire community became.
Terrible.
It's just absolutely terrible. It's tough to deal with. To their credit, though, the wrestling community is very okay with you looking them right in the eye and being like, hey, you suck. And they'll just look right back. No, you suck. It's like, okay, they got a little fight, a little bit of grit here, as opposed to, oh, you unprofessional. Because if you do that now, if I was just to go up to some random football fan that's just sitting there casually, maybe with their kids, which I did down there at the Capitol Wrestling Center, just a parent with a kid just hanging walking out, and I tap on the glass right in their face. You suck, into the kid. You suck too. And then both of them start pounding the glass. You suck. If you were to do that to a football fan, could you imagine just some Colts fan just sitting there in the stands, you know, like with their drink or whatever with their kid, and me walking off and stopping, bashing their drink out. You suck. I'd get sued. Probably the Colts would probably have to cut me. I would have to come out on a full thing. And wrestling fans are like, oh, just wait till you come back to this town, motherfucker. Like so I do respect that about wrestling, but it would be awesome to be in a full arena. Let's go up to Brett in Buffalo. What's going on, Brett?
What's good, young fella? How you doing?
Hey, not too shabby. How are you, Brett? What do you want to talk about, bub?
Hold on 1 second. What the hell is happening?
Well, you sound Canadian. That's how close Buffalo is. You know, you got to go across that Rainbow Bridge there, going off over one of the world wonders there, the Niagara Falls, which is like a horseshoe up there.
1 second, Pat.
Okay, you know, nothing but time. Sure. Nothing but time, Brett.
I'm sorry. I'm getting fucking Godsmack in my ears. What the hell's happening?
Anyway. That's not Godsmack, by the way. That is, that's not us, actually. That's probably
God damn.
What's Godsmack? Right. That's,
There we go.
What's a Godsmack?
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you.
What's a Godsmack song? Hey, what song was it, Brett?
Stand Alone, I think.
Stand Alone! Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty good song. Okay. But, yeah. What do you want to talk about, Brett?
All right. Pat, forgive me, big fan of the show. Been a minute since I've been back. By the way, Mr. Hawk, how you doing? I am calling for one specific reason. Boston Connor! I'm cutting a promo on your ass right now.
Oh, I never heard somebody actually say they're going to do. Let's go ahead, Brett.
All right, Boston Connor, you remember weeks and weeks ago, we made a singular bet. It wasn't cash. It wasn't for anything material.
No.
Okay. Pride.
No.
Humiliation.
No.
Okay.
Tomorrow, at about 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time,
This side.
I am predicting the Buffalo Bills will win the AFC East.
Wow.
Nice.
And I have been holding your name in my ledger for the last 6 weeks.
Still got a ledger.
Yeah.
Notes.
I got a question for you. Are you scared, Connor? Are you scared? Are you nervous?
Huh? Is
about the Bills?
Is that what it is, Connor?
You should.
Are you nervous? Are you scared? Are you shaking in your little shitbag pants there, pal?
Hold on, no.
It doesn't matter if you're scared or not. Destiny's coming for you, pal.
That's right.
I just got one question. Do you want an Allen jersey or do you want a Diggs jersey?
Take Allen.
I mean, shit, I'll take a Josh Allen jersey. Yeah. I mean, Montana, if you can make it. Or
It does.
Wyoming, sorry. Montana on the brain.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Unbelievable.
Just can't help himself but be a scumbag. I liked what Brett did there. It does feel pretty good for the Buffalo. Now, granted, with Taylor Russolino and then Broncos probably get a big dub here. But if the Bills do win the AFC East, and we talked to Josh Allen, he said, hey, it doesn't matter if we got to keep going here. I think they are very focused on not just winning the AFC East, although it is the first time that they have the chance to really, the door has been open for a long, long time, no matter who wants to admit it or not. That's just the way it goes. Good for the Buffalo Bills and their fans. And for Brett also, I think he said he wanted you, I saw the thing under there. I wasn't going to sit around and wait for him to get to it. Did you guys bet 100 up downs or something like that? Was that something?
I do remember that.
I actually do recall that.
I remember.
Well, the thing about me is that the only bets that actually count are the ones you shake on, and I know I didn't shake his hand, so sorry, Brett. I win, you lose again, pal.
Because you're a scumbag.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you win.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do.
Fucking 100 up downs.
Hey, bro, chop them, dude. You got juju on that thing. Hey, you got to do the juju on.
I'll do it on. A Josh Allen jersey, step all over it.
Man, up downs were the worst, AJ. The worst things on earth.
They're only used as punishment.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of cardio in general in the sports that I chose to play. That's why it's hard for me to get into running or like kind of see people running on the sideline or on the sidewalk like smiling. It's like my entire life, if I fucked up, I had to do what you're doing right now for fun. It's not a good correlation, Is that why you do the ladder thing?
The Versa climber? I mean, yeah, because I can't sit there and run distance. I've never been able to, especially with my knee. There's no chance I'll make it. But yeah, and you got to mix it up, man. I get bored. I've thought about getting into like bike riding, cycling, like doing that for long distances, but that got boring too.
Well, too. I don't know how anybody does it. I have a lot of faith.
Seats.
uncomfortably sized seats for me. I mean, you know, these things, AJ knows. I mean, these things are not easy. You know what I mean, AJ? When I sat on that bike thing, it felt like it was not fun. People do it, though. That Peloton thing is massive. CFO Phil's getting into it now. I mean, it is a huge thing.
Too small of a seat.
I just can't do it. They got to give me one of them, like
Harley
lounger seats. Yeah, like one of those. You give me one of those, I think I'd be able to get into it. But the ass just can't do it, dude.
You need the big banana seat that's on like the beach cruisers.
Yeah, beach cruiser. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I need one of them. But that probably gets in the way of the pedaling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I saw Baron Corbin on his Instagram. He was doing like mountain bike trails. Have you ever seen where he's like jumping? It was like his kids. It was like we were kids again. He's jumping these mountain bikes. He was very tired. That would be fun, I think, if I could get to that. I don't think there's any mountains in Indiana.
a little flat.
Yeah, a little flat. Not as flat as Ohio, but
that's true.
I mean, pretty close to that whole thing. That's why you want to get into biking, by the way. You just kind of get on a bike and it just goes in Ohio because it's so fucking flat.
Pedal twice.
Get around the hole.
I'll splurge on get the e-bike, so it looks like I'm actually working, but I'm not. It's actually
the Lance Armstrong.
Smart. Is that what he had?
Well, I don't know. I guess I thought there would be a little bit more of a affirmation from somebody else there.
Well, no, that's basically it. Just with blood.
No.
Oh,
Not just that. There was somebody else, a bicycle maker, that figured out a way inside of the gear in the thing to assist.
Oh, really?
It was assistant of a bike. And he was paid off a certain amount of time. It was in some documentary I watched very late night, so I might be getting this wrong, but they alluded to the fact that it was almost like it was the U.S. Postal Service team or whatever that was using these bikes or whatever.
I do remember hearing something like that, and it was for when they were like the mountain stages, right?
Yeah, well, I think
because that's where he used to just fucking crush people.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was him or not, or they never said his name. Zito's looking it up right now. Zito, have you found anything?
It says Belgian pro cyclist found using bicycle with hidden motor.
Yeah, there's like, I forget what documentary
Was it Icarus? Was it in that one or no?
No, the Icarus one, that guy thought he was the story, by the way. That guy, for the first 2 hours, you got to sit through this fucking guy trying to act like he's a biker. We don't care, dude. Get to the scientist that was hacking Olympics, dude. Fucking get with it. That was.
I can't say his name. His name's hard.
There's a lot of Lance Armstrong docs, but this one was another biking doc.
Yeah, Femke van den Dresky.
Oh, Femke.
I think the bike industry is pretty crooked, by the way.
Yeah. The Tour de France in general.
Well, I guess everything's kind of crooked these days, though. Isn't it? Everything.
Yeah.
They got a World Cup happening in the middle of a goddamn desert, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, how'd that happen? Well, it's one of the wealthiest countries.
It was called mechanical doping.
So maybe it was what you just said, actually, by the way.
The Icarus one?
For the bicycle. Nah, I don't know.
Because Icarus was basically just a blood dope.
Yeah, it was blood doping.
And steroids and everything. But it became the scandal for that Russian guy who had to go hide out. And then that's why the Olympic athlete from Russia team happened from this one documentary. I saw it the first day it was on Netflix, and it was just Putin's face, and it said Icarus. I'm like, well, I'm going to watch this for sure. And I came in, I think, the next day, and I started talking about it to you guys. I was like, this documentary is insane if it's true. And then, lo and behold, as more people start watching it, that guy has to go into hiding. Russia gets banned from the Olympics. I mean, it was like a big expose. But yeah, I think there was something that said this guy got paid off. He alluded to it being Lance. It might not have been Lance. It might have been somebody else. But, you know, those bikes that you're talking about, you need to get the ones that just kind of pedal for you. A little moped operation down there.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive. I've seen a lot of the Lance stuff, like the documentaries and stories, and I've never heard like the bike situation. I mean, obviously they were all, you know, using EPO and blood doping and all that, but I don't know about the bike.
Fuck. Normally my brain does good with this, but the fact that you guys haven't found anything is kind of alarming. Maybe I lost it.
No.
Yeah.
No. Just talk to Stone Cold. I mean, still thinking about that.
No, yeah, but I'm just normally something like this wouldn't just come out of nowhere. You know
no,
what
but I do remember. I mean, and granted, it might have been you that told me.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was me.
But still,
when I told you, I feel like I would have been closer to the information at the time, and maybe Zito's not telling us. In fact,
I found some stuff, but like nothing that connected Lance to it.
What did it say? Did it allude to Lance?
They asked Lance if he ever used it, and he said no. Back then, we had no idea those things ever existed.
Okay, but he's also a scumbag cheater, so you can't really.
Come on,
you can't take that much stock in that.
I think everybody was cheating, by the way.
Yeah, everybody was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, I mean, he was just a scumbag.
Yeah, but he raised a lot of money for
Yeah, he
people.
did.
People forget.
I had a yellow bandy thing.
Me too. Everybody had one.
Live strong, baby.
Live strong.
Hell yeah.
Stronger than others too. You want to go ahead and pump some more shit?
Yeah.
What's that, Gumpy? You were going to say you're a big Lance Armstrong fan?
I like what he did for everybody.
Yeah, me too. You know, that kind of got wiped away.
I'm a Lance
They stopped selling the bands, by the way. They're like, take your bands off, cut them, and don't buy any more. We don't want to raise any more money. It's like, all right, maybe we still do the good shit, though. And
I will say, he had the greatest gear of all time. The Livestrong Nike, shorts, pants, shirts, all that was absolutely amazing.
And why, AJ, when you get into biking, are you going to fucking dress like you're on the U.S. Postal Service team? Why does that happen? Why do I see some 90-year-old man wearing those goddamn tights going 4 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour thing, struggling to get up the tiny little incline that we have in Indiana? Why are you dressed like that? Why are you in my way? Is there not somewhere else you can fucking just mosey around on a bicycle looking uncomfortable at?
Less chafing.
It's what you just said. You know, he's going 4 miles per hour, but without that stuff, he's going 2.5. So,
True.
I mean, you put that stuff on, you're cutting through the air. You know.
AJ, do you have one of them costumes?
Oh yeah, he does.
No, and I never even the amount of biking I did is on a mountain bike, just going out and around the circle and saying, all right, this is not really for me to do this exercise. But I do feel like, especially where I live, there's these huge bike paths / walking paths, but then there'll always be a couple guys dressed up in those costumes, as you call them, and they're holding up 17 cars. Like, I'm like, bro, just go 6 feet to the right and you have a whole bike path that you can get on. Like, I'm surprised more of them don't get hit because they're everywhere now.
I'm not knocking the bicycle community. Do your thing or whatever. But there seems like some members, like every community, lack self-awareness. Where, hey, maybe what you see your friends do that are in your little cycle club do, maybe you're not there yet. You know, maybe you do keep it on the Peloton. Maybe you put there's actually something you could put in the house. We had it growing up where you put your bike literally on like 2 wheels and it just rolls and you literally just park it in your living room. Tim McAfee used to do that when he couldn't get out on the streets, whenever he was facing the police for speeding through the parks because he was going too fast down hills. So maybe do that a little bit until you can potentially go at least 1/10 of the fucking speed limit and get out of everybody else's way. I'm happy we got to this today. That is something. I mean, granted, we got winter for 5 more months, so we're not going to see this. But this is just setting a seed in for those people to think about. Maybe this winter, this is what you change coming in 2021. Maybe you're not the 4-mile-an-hour bike dressed up in tights guy or lady going into 2021.
And when you're talking about costumes, I mean, AJ, you have the chance to have one of the best biking costumes of all time. I mean, you get a helmet that has a hawk on it. You get, wings on the back of your jersey.
With that jawline.
With the jawline. I mean, you might be able to break all Lance Armstrong's records.
True.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it, Connor. If my wife gets me a bike for Christmas, I'll get the gear.
Oh, is that a hint? Hey, Mrs. Hawk dropped a hint right
something
there.
to think about.
Something to get the guy a bike.
Help this hawk fly.
Hey, so
He is not watching. Don't worry.
Oh, come on.
Jeez.
Why aren't you watching?
Let's go to Ryan in Fresno. Maybe she should gift you attention, and care.
How about that?
What do you want to talk about, Ryan?
Hey, Pat, the boys. Happy birthday, Ty. Happy Feel Good Friday, gentlemen.
What do you want to talk about, Ryan?
Hey, Pat, I want to talk about how the Shots are royally fucked now that they got the Rona. Do you think that's going to affect their New Year's Six chances of getting to a college football New Year's Six game?
Why don't they just let Coastal Carolina and play Cincinnati there? Just let it happen.
They might.
Perfect.
Just let it happen. Just do it. Cincinnati had the Rona issue, right? Didn't they last week?
Yep.
Chanticleer's got it now. There's some college basketball teams, by the way, that the entire roster gets it. I feel like that's a strategy.
Smart.
I feel like that is a strategy.
As long as everyone survives, it's smart.
Yeah, by the way, everybody's got to survive, but I think they're getting all the antibodies so they can just go into the season, go open mouth kiss whoever at any college party they want to go to, do whatever you got to do. But yeah, who knows who got sick, who didn't get sick. That's the big thing about the Ohio State. If it comes out that old Justin Fields got it and some other people got it, then maybe you do have to reconsider the 19.5 spread. But it feels like the books would know who has it, and those things would change already. So with Coastal Carolina, tough stuff. Hate it for you guys. You guys are going to have a good year next year. By the way, good base. But I don't think you're going to get that fucked out of the whole thing. I mean, you kind of already are.
With the COVID situation, though, with Ohio State, isn't it weird, though, that we haven't heard more? So you would assume that they're going to be all right. Or how many guys are going to sit out?
You tell us, dude. You tell us.
The game's tomorrow. But the game's tomorrow. Shouldn't some kind of information be out by now?
You tell us, dude.
Terrell Pryor's getting free tattoos.
Free tattoos, no class, everything that else goes on. You got no class. Not no class. I mean, maybe some. That's all fan bases. But I'm talking about you never having to attend a single class, write a single note, take a single test because you were an Ohio State Buckeye. You tell us why nothing's gotten out.
Yeah, I mean, you just described my college career perfectly.
That's right. Thought so.
Hey, at least they want to play, not like Michigan.
Oh, well, it is the Big Ten championship and not their 6th straight loss. So, I mean, I can't understand the difference a little bit, but at least
the game.
At least boys want to go out there and play. What do you got, Diggs?
AJ, Laurinaitis went into depth on the show about how the hazing and bullying from you and Bobby Carpenter as seniors when he came into Ohio State. Do you have anything to say for yourself?
Yeah, do you want to protect yourself from what he said?
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't get to see what James said. I highly doubt that he said I hazed him and I bullied him at all. But he definitely walked into a lively linebacker room that year.
Yeah, you, Schlags, Bob, and then James Laurinaitis just dropped out of Minnesota right in there. And, he went on to become 2-time Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, and he said if it wasn't for all your hazing, he wouldn't have done it.
Without A.J. Hawk.
Yeah, he said you didn't really say much, but you were the most devious.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Something about a gimp mask, too.
Yeah, do you want to explain yourself?
A gimp mask, really?
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. I don't even know why that got brought up.
It's probably, Bobby loves talking about the gimp. So.
Wow. I don't know what that is. Happy birthday, Ty.
Happy birthday, Ty.
Thank you. Let's go to, fucking dodgeball.
Happy birthday, Stone Cold.
Oh, okay. Happy birthday, Stone Cold.
Happy birthday, Stone Cold, yeah.
That's what the gimp you wore that in college?
No. I never saw anyone.
Hey, I'm AJ.
He made Laurinaitis wear.
Let's go to Avery.
Mr. Hawk.
Let's go to Avery in Atlanta. That's crazy, dude.
Yo, what's up, Pat, the boys? AJ, happy Feel Good Friday.
Happy Feel Good Friday to you, too, man. I just learned something kind of a little mind-blowing about my friends here.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to ignore the GIMP mask. Pretend like that didn't just happen. But let's see. I'd like to say first shout-out to Ty and his birthday. Also, Stone Cold out there.
Yeah, happy birthday to both of us.
Happy birthday, boys.
Happy birthday.
Hey, you.
Also, one more shout-out. I wanted to shout out to all the McAfee Mafia members in chat every day. We're here every day supporting. Also,
we appreciate the hell out of you.
Thank you, guys.
Hell out of you.
Thank you, member.
I was actually the one who made the new emotes that were just added. Me and my friend Kyle worked on them, so hopefully everyone is liking all those.
Oh, Billy took credit for those, so.
He really did.
Don't say.
I'm joking.
Yeah, I made him ask, and I was like, hey, we have the Discord with everybody, and he put them on there. But
it's very nice of Billy. He running that whole Billy Tubes, Mr. Tubes.
Attaboy, Bill.
Attaboy, Mr. Tubes.
He gave us a full presentation. Hey, look at these new emotes.
Yeah, he did. He had us all stop. We had to stop watching the soccer games yesterday, which were electrifying, by the way. Shout out to Manchester United getting back on it.
Yeah, shot, man. You.
Tottenham Hotspurs, after getting their asses beat by Liverpool. Even though if you're a fan of Liverpool, you do walk alone on a very regular occasion. The Tottenham Hotspurs just got no shot. Liverpool, come on, you Reds. You're going to lose the rest of the games. Let's go.
Top of the table, baby.
Anyways.
Once again.
Yeah. Avery, what do you want to talk about, dude?
I was going to ask you, I'm not sure if you know this, but Amazon actually has a contract with the NFL for the next 2 or 3 years where they can stream all Thursday night football games on Amazon Video and on Twitch. And Twitch streamers can restream the game and basically commentate over it. I don't know if there's any chance that you would maybe hop on there. I know you have the YouTube stream, which we love. Any chance maybe if you get the internet fixed at the house, you hop on and commentate over a Thursday night football game that anyone can do?
Great question, Avery. The internet being fixed has been, some hurdles in the way here. Okay, turns out during a pandemic, it is tough to get a plot to kind of take down. I guess I got about a mile of wiring that I have to put in. Okay, and I have
construction for everybody.
I have to pay for the city to get this done for the entire neighborhood, by the way. And I'm willing to do it. I want to be an upstate. Yeah, that's what they should be saying. That's what the neighbors should be saying. So it is going to take a little bit to do that. And I do know that Twitch has been doing that. A lot of people do that for those Thursday night games. For me, I just don't want to piss off YouTube.
Yeah.
And I feel like they know. I feel like we got a good thing going on YouTube. And I don't want to piss them off. And I feel like YouTube and Twitch are potential competitors at this point.
Yeah.
And I do not want to piss off the YouTube folks because I love it over here.
They've reached out to you, too, I'm pretty sure.
Twitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said they wanted to build us a studio whenever Zito was running the video games there. And we were very thankful for them or whatever. But this YouTube thing has been quite a ride. And we are very thankful for it.
Yeah.
I'm just trying not to fuck it up, dude.
We love the tube.
We do.
Is Twitch really a competitor to YouTube?
I don't know, dude. All those massive companies, there's only like 5 of them, and they're all competing against each other for all the same shit content, right? You got like Google, Amazon, Spotify, Sirius, Apple, Man, I guess Netflix should get in there. There's like 6 companies up there in the next like 5-10 years who are going to buy everything, and they're all spending money. Everything's an arms race right now. It feels like. So I'm just trying. Now I'm not going to be on YouTube forever or on Sirius forever, unless I am. Maybe that is not the deal we are currently under with Sirius and YouTube. We do not have a deal as of right now. So maybe that'll change. But right now, I just don't want to fucking piss anybody off. Hey, listen, I see how you get pissed off about stuff. I'm just trying to do my thing and keep it moving. But calling a game on Twitch would be dope. Why doesn't Google get into that game a little bit? They won't listen to us, so I'm not even going to say, like, hey, YouTube, why don't you do this for us? It's like,
here's an idea.
They do not care about us to do that. But Amazon's going to buy it outright, I guess, the Thursday night games going into this next contract negotiation, because a lot of the networks didn't want the Thursday night, actually.
Now, who are they going to have commentator? Are they just going to play like the Joe and Troy audio? Because last night I actually clicked on the Amazon, and it was Joe and Troy. I thought they had alternate broadcasts.
I thought they had Andrea
Kramer.
They had 2 females, didn't they? I thought
they had a full female. I guess this year that must have been last year. This year they must not have done
last year.
So the Thursday night is not one that most of the networks want. If the Andrew Marchand in the New York Post article is accurate, Amazon's going to buy the Thursday night rights outright, I guess, because the networks are all putting together packages, and I guess the Thursday one is not desirable for whatever reason. So I'll be excited to see what Amazon does moving forward with that. Hopefully they open it up a little bit. We got that fucking SpongeBob one this weekend.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm sure
Nice
there's
idea, Nickelodeon.
Can we do an all-adult one? Can we do an adult one, maybe? That'd be awesome if we could do that. And if I don't get the call for that, I won't feel offended. I'll be excited to watch it, knowing that it would be much better if I was doing it.
Yep.
So that's, you know what I mean, AJ?
Who do you think their first call would be?
Who's doing it?
No, I'm saying if it was the adult broadcast, they're like, oh, we need like an edgy guy or gal that's out there that really has their finger on the pulse. Like, who do you think they're reaching out to?
Yeah, but I'm saying, which network do you think is doing it?
HBO.
Let's say, yeah. Okay. No, say Amazon. Say Bezos does it.
Well, it won't be us because we're YouTube, so we're out on that. Bezos probably has a deal with the NFL Network already, so probably Rich Eisen would be the play-by-play guy.
Joe Thomas, maybe?
Yeah, I would assume it would be NFL Network
He
people.
screams After Dark.
Yeah.
Joe Thomas? I think so. He'd be able to handle that. Well, Steve Smith, I hope they Randy.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Steve Smith would be awesome on there. In my head right now, I'm just running through people on TV.
Talib.
Akeem Talib. I'd like Akeem Talib on.
He's doing a game this weekend.
Moose.
How's he done?
That's a good one.
That would be a good one, yeah.
Maybe put him with Mariucci. Him and the Mooch. Moose and the Mooch.
Oh, Moose and the Mooch.
Yeah.
Here on the adult NFL.
Uh-huh.
Well, Fitzy and Ma's already getting good practice for Monday Night Tailgate.
That's true. Yeah, maybe get them on the ground.
All right, AJ, let's go through all these. Why are they doing a SpongeBob? Do an adult one, will you? Yeah. I mean, the SpongeBob one.
You don't think Rogers with the googly eyes isn't going to grab all those young kids to make them
Those kids aren't going to remember it happened the next day. They're not going to remember it happened immediately afterwards. They're not even going to have a clue that happened.
Halfway through the game, they're also going to just be like, okay, fuck this. Let's play some Fortnite. You know, let's get on here and let's build some walls.
I can actually score this touchdown here. Let's go through the AJ Hawk predictions, because this prediction segment with you, we do every Friday, has made its way into NFL locker rooms, by the way. Last week, Aaron Rodgers did hear what you had to say about their game, and it motivated him. It was bulletin board material, much more so than Juju even dancing on logos. So let's get to it. Tomorrow, Bills at Broncos. Broncos +6. You like the Bills to cover.
Absolutely.
Panthers, Packers. Packers -7.5. You like the Packers to cover.
Yes.
Bears at Vikings. Vikings -3.5. They are favored by almost 4 points. How do you like it?
So this one was tough for me. I had to think about it. And you know what? I got to go with Mitch. Mitch and the boys are going to get this one done.
Yes.
Christ. All right. So you're 0-3. 0 for 1 at least here on Sunday. Let's go to Lions at Titans. Titans are favored by 10.5 against a team with no coach, no GM, and seems like no quarterback of the future. How do you feel about Derrick Henry and the boys coming off of a 200-yard rushing performance that broke some NFL records?
Well, 10.5 points is a lot to cover, but yeah, Titans, I think they get it done in the cover.
Okay, Texans at Colts, divisional matchup in Indy. The Colts just came off an ass beating of the Las Vegas Raiders. They handed out. Colts at home, favored by 1.5 touchdowns. What do you think?
I like the Colts to cover here too.
All right. Jags at Ravens. Ravens coming off of Lamar's poop game, alleged. He did not poop. He had a cramp. Comes out. 2 minutes left in the game. Throws a touchdown. Wins the whole thing. It was awesome. Justin Tucker, 55.5. This spread is 12.5 at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Well, Gardner Minshew is starting, correct?
Yeah, he played the second half last week, though. That should be talked about.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think the Ravens win, but I don't think they cover.
So, you like Minshew and the boys plus 12.5. Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 1.5 at home. Normally, Patriots struggle in Miami late in the season.
Yeah, they do. I mean, this is a different Patriots team for sure. But, yeah, Dolphins win and they cover. I think the Dolphins' defense is pretty solid, and we know the Patriots' offense has a hard time scoring points.
Yeah, Patriots stink is what you said. You like the Patriots cover?
Do I like the Patriots to cover? You know what? Check back in on Hammer Down, and I'll let you know.
3:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's a tease. Let's go to 49ers at Cowboys. 49ers are favored by 3 on the road, but they've been living on the road the last 3 weeks.
This is an easy one. Cowboys all the way.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Wrong.
God, this is unbelievable. I thought we had a little integrity for this segment. Let's go to Seahawks at football team. Seahawks are favored by 6.5, traveling across the country. Gumpy, do you have any nukes on Russell traveling east? I think it used to be a pretty good thing for Russell Wilson traveling to the Eastern Standard Time Zone.
He's 16-4 straight up his last 20 against the NFC East.
Oh, there we go. There's some stats right there for you.
Alex Smith is out, so Dewey is starting on Sunday.
Okay, Dwayne Haskins and the football team are getting 6.5 points at home against the Seahawks. DK Metcalf, unbelievable. Obviously, Russell Wilson seems to not be broke anymore. They just beat the Jets by 37 points. How do you feel?
Yeah, I like the Seahawks to win and cover here. It's kind of weird because you never know with the Seahawks. What are we going to do? Like, is Chase Young going to terrorize Russell all day? I don't know. But I still think the Seahawks will find a way to win and cover.
Maybe 6.5 is, if that was 7.5, I think a lot of more conversations happening. 6.5, very interesting. Bucks at Falcons. Falcons are without Julio Jones at home. They're getting 6 points. Tampa Bay Buccaneers came off a bye last week against the Vikings. They won, but not sure if we learned anything about them. How do you feel like this NFC South divisional matchup will go?
Man, I do not like that Julio is out for Atlanta. Man, I'm going back and forth with this. I want to pick the Falcons to win here. I really do. You know, I love picking the underdog, and I don't think the Bucs had a great performance in their last win. I know some people thought, oh, they're back. I don't think that's the case. But no, I think the Bucs win. Do they cover? Yeah, they're going to cover too.
Wow. Hey, you took us on a little bit of a ride there. I thought for sure we're going Falcons to win plus 210, but you got Bucks to win and cover without Julio Jones. Jets at Rams. Rams are favored by 17.5 in Los Angeles. The New York Football Jets, after losing by 37, have to take on Aaron Donald, Jared Goff, and the boys.
I mean, it's 17.5. Is that the biggest spread we've seen all year?
No, there was a 20
against the Jets.
Okay. Yeah, man, to say the Rams are going to cover 17.5, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah,
they're going to cover.
Absolutely.
Eagles at Cardinals. Cardinals are favored by 6.5. Jalen Hurts versus Kyler Murray. This one's going to be a good game. Probably the under is in play here as well for Tone Diggs. How do you see this game playing out?
I like the Cardinals to win. I like them to cover. I like the Cardinals defense to mix it up a little bit. Their D coordinator, Vance Joseph, the Broncos' old head coach, I think they find a way to force Jalen to beat him with his arm. And let's see if he can do it. But I don't think he will this game. I think the Cardinals win and cover.
The Saints chose not to do that last week. Let's go Chiefs at Saints. Chiefs are only favored by 3. Drew Brees will be starting for the Saints in New Orleans. Just one day after them saying he might be out for a long time, he is named the starter by Adam Schefter this morning.
Pretty amazing. I think it's kind of amazing that the Chiefs are only 3-point favorites.
Same with me.
It's because they're on the road in New Orleans, but guess what? It's not a full dome, so I don't think it matters as much. Chiefs win and they cover.
Okay, Browns at Giants. Browns are favored by 6.5 against the football Giants. Daniel Jones is playing? Not playing.
Questionable.
Colt McCoy probably playing. Oh, come on. How do you feel about it at MetLife?
Man. I would love to find a way to pick the Giants. I don't like the whole quarterback situation, what's going on. I don't think the Giants are as good as everyone thought they were maybe 3 weeks ago. So Browns win and cover.
Hey, congratulations, AJ.
Hey, AJ.
Predicting the entire slate. I have a super boost for this weekend. It's going to win. Hey, it's going to win. Go ahead and put that thing up. The plus 170 odds boosted up from, I think, plus 110 or plus 120. I have a 3-team 7-point teaser. Packers have to win Titans have to cover 3.5, and the Colts have to win. How you doing? Keep it moving. That's going to happen. All we need is the Packers to beat the Panthers. No big deal. Doesn't matter by how many points. All we need is the Titans to beat the Lions at home by 3.5 points. No big deal. And all you need is the Colts to win against the Texans. No big deal. Go ahead and hammer that thing $50. Shout out to FanDuel for that plus 170 boost. AJ, do you have anything to say to the Mad Dog Sports Radio listeners on Sirius XM before we get out of here for the weekend? Do you have anything to tell them going into the weekend, bub?
I just hope they all reach out and wish Ty a happy birthday. And Stone Cold.
And Stone Cold, for sure. Both guys, obviously. AJ, it was so nice of you to take that time earlier in the show to tell Ty happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, AJ.
That was very nice of you. Ty, I hope your 30th year on Earth, well, I guess this will be your 31st year on Earth, is the best year that you've ever experienced. Happy birthday. We appreciate the hell out of you.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks,
Happy birthday, Ty.
Big thanks to Steve Kornacki, Steve Austin, James Laurinaitis, AJ Hawk, and all of our guests from this week. Thank you so much for spending time with us. All the boys, I appreciate your effort. Hammer Don is in 35 minutes at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. It is a winning gambling show. I think it'll be an enjoyable one today. Myself, Lombardi, Diggs, and Gumpy. Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed will be next. His show will be better than ours. Have an incredible weekend. We got NFL football on Saturday and Sunday. We'll overreact Monday. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. Go take a shit. Wow. Yeah, pretty good. That was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good. What do you got this weekend, AJ? Anything?
I don't know. I have to think.
Find some
I
customized.
just take it 1 minute at a time, Pat.
Oh, you guys in Columbus get together for Big Ten championship and push each other around. And,
Let's go Buckeyes!
Yeah, we do. Spit in each other's mouths, hit each other in the
Don't do that.
mouth.
Hey, did you see Marcus Peters spit in the direction of Jarvis Landry? And then Jarvis Landry basically, cut a promo on him about how people feel about him. And then Marcus Peters came back and said, I didn't spit at that man behind his back. I mean, the video shows that he did do that, but I think Marcus Peters was trying to say, that wasn't like me going, waiting for him to turn around and do it. I love a good beef, though. Hey, as long as I'm not in it, I love a good beef. Jarvis Landry's been on the show. He's super cool guy, very good at football. But after what we saw in Hard Knocks and what we've seen him do in practices on Hard Knocks and in games, I feel like that's a badass dude. I want to be on side. And Marcus Peters, he remember whenever Marshawn Lynch and he are cousins and he got kicked out of a game. He seems to be a scrappy guy. They're both going to be in the AFC North for some time. I'll be excited to see how this all plays out.
That's why I'm so excited all this was happening. I'm like, yes, this is great. We're going to watch these guys not only play against each other, but match up one-on-one. And so there will be, I would imagine there'll be a few ejections in the future for us between this matchup.
Crabtree and Sherman, I believe, and Crabtree and Talib, I believe. Didn't they have a little bit of beef there for a little bit? Yeah, snatch of chains. I mean, those things, obviously if you're in the middle of it, you're going to have to go out there and there's going to be some things that are going to happen. It's like hockey whenever, you got to tap a stick sometimes for the boys. The goons got to come out there and do their thing. It'll be a heightened animosity. But if you win the game, that's all that matters. Everybody knows that if you win the game. But for us as fans watching it is interesting. I hope they talk to each other, maybe figure it out. And if they don't, good for us. We kind of get that whole thing to kind of play out. It did look like it was quite a spit, by the way. And in the time that we're in, that spit could have been a murder charge.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
I could have.
Marcus.
That's why all these college basketball teams are getting, nope, not on purpose, not doing it.
Okay.
Gonzaga hasn't practiced in 2 weeks, and they got Iowa tomorrow.
Take the Hawks.
Iowa's basketball school.
Yeah. I believe they're catching points, too, aren't they?
Catching three, my friend.
Iowa's getting 3 points at home?
Yeah.
No, in South Dakota.
In
neutral site.
In South Dakota?
Playing the Zags in South Dakota.
And Gonzaga hasn't practiced in 2 weeks. Their entire team got it?
I don't know if the entire team got
guys,
it, but they've haven't been practicing.
Now, listen, I hope they all survive, obviously. I mean, the age range that they're in, I think they're going to be okay, and there's a vaccine. Hopefully we'll be able to save some lives, But the thought of an entire team getting the antibodies, and then just, I wonder if people...
Off and running,
The Ravens could go on a run here.
Well, what I'm saying is if half your team gets it, that's almost worse. Now, granted, half the risk of let's just act as if they're all going to survive.
Yes.
Right. Let's act as if they're all going to survive. Let's hope they do survive. Stats We're not going to get into it, but let's hope they survive there. If your entire team gets it and then you just got the antibodies for the rest of the season, you don't have to worry about what everybody's doing whenever they leave the facility or they can go and do it. If half the team gets it, you still got to worry. You know, it's a very interesting thing, that whole college basketball thing. I wouldn't say people are doing it on purpose, but I assume players are having conversations. They're like, so if we get it, okay, what? We potentially die. Okay, let's hope we survive.
Absolutely.
But then we don't have it for the rest of the season. We don't have to do any of this bullshit like locking our house for the entire time.
Well, Duke beat Notre Dame the other day, so you haven't heard much from Coach K lately.
Yeah,
Duke won a basketball game?
Yeah, conference game.
Way to go.
Conference game.
Nice job, Coach.
Coach K, this first win in a while, right? Couple years?
Yeah, just about.
Yep.
Might as well be.
Is Ohio State good at basketball? You guys were good at one point, weren't you?
Well, Gumpy asked me about a bet a couple of days ago. I believe Ohio State lost the game, didn't they, Gump?
Yeah, they failed to cover by half a point, AJ. They were missing their best player, though.
What was it, 4.5 the other night?
It got up to 6.5. They lost by 7.
Ooh, Jesus.
Heartbreaker.
Thad Matta.
Is that a sign of things to come tomorrow when Ohio State plays Northwestern in the Big Ten champion? Because what the basketball team did a couple days ago, will that potentially linger into the football facility tomorrow? That's something you got to think about when that spread is at 19.5.
Yeah, you definitely need to think about that. Is that something that sounds like a question that Connor gets from other sports talk shows?
Yeah, every once in a while you'll hear me kind of get into the, that world. You know what I mean? It's been a lot of fun as of late to speak like a boring stooge, because it is nice to just showcase that this is a much easier way of doing entertainment than the dumb, stupid fashion that we normally do it in. And back to you.
Who do you model that after?
Just every fucking old stooge on TV, basically. You know what I mean? Just every one of them.
Aren't those guys getting phased out, you think?
No, they'll be around forever, dude.
Yep, till they croak.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. We grew up on it. I wish they put Stone Cold in some of those spots.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Can we reflect on that again? I mean, we're wrapping up the show here. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That was fucking awesome. That was a cool moment. I'm pretty pumped up about that.
You should be. I mean, I think everyone's excited for you. We could see how much it means to you as well. And you even mention at times how sometimes you have a tough time with feelings. Like you don't have feelings that much. So I think it's great to see you excited and genuinely happy about speaking to one of your idols.
Fucking AJ's the worst, dude.
You told me, well, like the emotions. Sam says, I got an issue with that.
Sam said, she does. My wife says that she feels like some of my emotional development was skipped in the process of just kicking a ball against the side of a wall. You know what I mean? Which is potentially true. I mean, I don't get too high on the highs or low on the lows. You know what I mean? I've kind of always been, I've been low a couple of times, been very high a lot of times, but I'm talking about emotionally. I just try to stay right there in the middle. But yeah, the Steve Austin one was pretty cool. It was hard to fall asleep last night, and then this morning waking up, it was like fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin. Go. Steve Kornacki, James Laurinaitis, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Come on.
You know what I mean? It's kind of pretty cool.
Hey, Kornacki was awesome, though. I watched that. He was great. Like, he seemed like such a normal dude.
And the way he was laying out how if this state does this and this state does this, then he's going to need this state to do this. When he's talking about playoffs, how it was kind of a natural transition. I think that was a pretty cool little point there, because he had the Kornacki, the 3-slide pop-up that kind of slides underneath each other on Sunday Night Football, where he was like, you might look at the number 6 here at 59%, and the 5 is actually at 31%, and that's because of future scheduling. And boom, he goes down there, and this thing comes out, and he's like, the Ravens, and he's like, very easy teams here. And then you look at this squad, oh, they're kind of fucked, basically. I mean, it's a good idea. I think it made the show better.
Magical.
I think it made the show better. If they could get him a goddamn touchscreen that worked, that would be nice for everybody, I think. But I like Kornacki. And then Laurinaitis, why is he not calling NFL games?
He does college games, but yeah, I mean, come on now. Who knows the rhyme or reason who's doing those games, I guess. But yeah, James is ultra, like, yeah, from when he stepped up, like I was a senior his freshman year, that dude came in like ready to roll right away.
Oh, like he was a professional, like an adult as soon as he got there.
And all we ever did was ask him, like, hey man, is your dad here? Where's your dad? He had to get so annoyed with us.
Animal, by the way, from the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, they both passed. His dad was Animal. I I talked to him about that a little bit. Did you hear his answer about getting in the wrestling business, seeing how sore his dad was and everything like that? Because normally, if your dad's in a business or your mom's in the business, you're going to be in the business somehow. That's just how the business operates. Him just going to the NFL and then always resisting, by the way. Even now he's in TV, and you would think there would be some sort of something, and him just staying away from it has been pretty impressive almost. Because you'd think at some point you'd go over there and do something.
He's had that, like, believe me, we asked him all the time, like, oh, you're gonna? He's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. His dad recently passed too. It's sad, but his dad, I got to know him decently well over the years too. He and his dad were awesome together. It seemed like they had a great relationship, but they're different personalities too. Like James, his dad is more like he's ready to roll. Like, oh, there's a signing at the mall. Yep, he's putting his face paint on, shoulder pads in the car. He's ready to go. James is a little more subdued.
We were talking about you guys getting paid a grotesque amount of money for autograph signings over there at Ohio State, by the way, because when I went
when it's legal, when you're done playing, you're saying.
Well, yeah, I'd assume during as well, but the after for sure. After you finish college before the draft, like after you finish college before the draft, I was down at the Senior Bowl and I was talking to some guys from like USC and I think there were some Ohio State kids, and they were talking about how much money they were getting from these autograph signings. And I was like, well, I know I'm just a kicker. Like, there's no way I'm supposed to. And then I go ask like Pat White what he's getting asked or what he's getting paid. And I was like, God damn, Pat, I wish you were good for like Ohio State or something. You'd be making like 20 grand a pop off of these. You guys were getting broken off over that, which, by the way, is a part of being at one of those schools that are like institutions. Like, hey, you come here, our fans are diehard. Whenever you leave, you'll get taken care of. James Laurinaitis, if you want to show, it feels like you're an Ohio State player. If you want to show in Columbus, you'll be able to have one forever. You'll be able to do autograph signing. It's like that's the reason why. There's some schools that everybody changes the rules for, and there's a reason. It's because like that's what they do. Like that's how it operates. We are a college football business here. That is how this thing goes.
I think it's something they should use in recruiting. Like, hey, I know you don't, you're a little far out, and when you want to play here and win some championships and get to the league, but there's a window after your bowl game, your last year here, where you have like a 4 to 6 month window where you can go around and make some cash doing autograph signings all over Ohio. You can do as many as you want. Like that's something that would be very like if you're a young kid and you could get that through, and they would be like, oh, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Because when you're at Ohio State, you think every other school is doing it, and everyone's making a lot of money.
Yeah, and the answer is no. They are not. And when I heard this from somebody else, I was like, excuse me? Because West Virginia and Ohio is not that far away, right? That's like just right there. And I'm like, these kids up here are just raking in money. And I'm, spending the last of my 40,000 loans I got out from college, and I'm going to sign for like $600 down at this mall or whatever. All right, I'm not doing any more of this shit. I'll get on another loan if I have to. And I'm hearing what they're... Now, granted, I'm a kicker. You shouldn't be paying for my autograph at all. The fact that I got that amount of money was cool. But then when I heard what everybody else, I was like, God damn. And it would be a good recruiting pitch, by the way. Like, because I think now people guesstimate on how much money is spent to get players whenever it comes out later on down the road. It's like a couple $100,000 or whatever. You could probably, if you're Ryan Day, tell kids, like, hey, listen, we can't pay anymore because there were some free tattoos and they watch us like a hawk. Okay, but do know this. If you play for us, which you will because you're a great football player, whenever you're done, you'll be able to make more money than all these people are getting right now to go to these other schools in the state of Ohio, let alone if you go on to the NFL and how much money you're going to make with what we got going on. I mean, you're right. That should be talked about because it's legal and it's true. So why not put that out there? That's probably a good call.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it for years. Maybe they do. Maybe they do use it, but it's probably tough telling a 17-year-old kid, hey, in like 3 or 4 years, you're going to make a good chunk of money before you get drafted.
If you play football good at all here, I mean, it's going to be tough because we got like 17 of you, like 17 5-star guys, whatever, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. But if you do, we're talking shit ton of money just signing your picture for the rest of your life. Do what you got to do. Not a bad gig you guys got over there for the Buckeyes.
No kidding.
How about the Hawks? So you got that for Kirk's boys?
No, not really.
No,
those boys go out and huck some corn. Go right out to a farm and just working right again.
Yeah, and by the way, that's why them boys go play anybody, anywhere if they had to.
Blacktop, underwater, on a beach, on a battlefield. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're not going to get the opportunity, obviously, which is too bad. But I guarantee Kirk's boys will keep it closer than what Northwestern's going to do this weekend.
You would guarantee?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You're hammering? Hell yeah. How about when we were doing the intro and he did the old, hell yeah. How much you think Ohio State wins by 20, 30 points, huh?
Yeah, I said 4 touchdowns this morning, so we'll see.
They making extra points or not?
They got a pretty good kicker, I
Yeah,
think.
they do. They got a good punter, too, over there. Let's go to Dan in Vegas. People are still waiting on hold. I don't know why. What's going on, dude?
Good afternoon, beautiful people.
I like it. I like it a lot. I like the energy.
Happy birthday, Ty. Happy birthday, Stone Cold.
Thanks.
I want to say it's an honor to be on the phone with my favorite punter of all time.
Oh, nice.
My favorite wrestler of all time. And also, I'm a Packer fan, the Crimson Chin as well.
Oh, right. Well, Derek, Dan, we're thankful for you over there in Vegas. What do you want to talk about, bub?
Before I ask you my question, I want to say that today's show, your show is electric every day, but today's show with Steve and Steve, probably the most electric of all time. I don't know how you're going to top it.
Well, by the way, that's why it's a weekend. We'll get it out of people's mind for the couple days. And Overreaction Monday, we'll probably have 0 guests booked, and we'll just come in and we'll just try to bring it. But that's why you put this type of show on a Friday, so that you don't, you know what I mean? You don't have to top yourself, because we agree. Whenever we looked at the guest slature, the thought was immediately, oh shit, we're supposed to have Brandon Marshall on too. Like a little bit ago, wide receiver Brandon Marshall, he had to cancel last second or whatever. I mean, today could have been a big one, and it was a big one. So 2 days, everybody will forget about it with as much shit that's about to pop off. Saturday and Sunday NFL football, people will forget about it.
All right. So after watching the Marcus Mariota show last night, what's in store for Derek Carr next season?
Yeah, he's not going to be a Raider. They saved $19.8 million if they cut him before June 1st or something like that. So I would assume he's going to be gone. He'll be a backup role somewhere. Mariota looked good, though, AJ. Did you watch that game last night?
Yeah, I thought he looked really good. He looked like, especially early on, remember when he went, he got a first down running, he got up all juiced. Like, you never saw a whole lot of emotion like that out of him before. So, he's been sitting at like this pent-up aggression / anger to get in the game, and I think he played well. Obviously, that pick was very costly. He threw the ball a little behind the receiver, but man, I thought he looked good.
The guy hasn't played football in forever.
Yeah.
Like practice squad, 7-on-7. I mean, I did that. That's much different than in the game. And for him to play as well as he did, I'm pumped for Marcus.
That touchdown pass to Waller was a thing of beauty. Also, how Waller ran, if people notice, like receivers, young receivers, he was running. He didn't put his hands out to the last second, because like if you run with your hands out, first off, you're going to go slower, but also the DB knows to come separate. So he just bam, bam, boom. As soon as he puts his hands out, perfect throw, perfect catch. I mean, he made it look easy. That was so difficult, that catch right there.
Late hands. And
people don't think about that. Like, they don't think about the late hand. I like watching DBs at the top, or receivers at the top of the route. Like when the ball's coming, I'm like, man, I want to see it. Devontae Adams, another guy I noticed early on when he first got to Green Bay. I'm like, dang, this dude already gets it.
That's what Reggie Wayne was like the best ever at it. I guess like that was almost his thing, because the DBs would have no idea that the ball was even coming, and then all of a sudden it was just snagged right behind their head, and then he got down. Wasn't getting hit. It was just like all of a sudden first down. Nobody knows how that happened. T.Y. learned it from Reggie. He started doing it. It is such I think it's a difficult thing. Like, you can know that like this is what I'm supposed to do, but to actually be able to do it while running full speed, I think is a very difficult thing. But it's quite an advantage with how athletic DBs are, because as soon as they see your eyes even open up a little bit, as soon as they see just like your eyes open up, they're like, all right, ball's coming. Let's see what happens. And then if they can't get their head around, they're just waiting for your hands, and they're going right for your hands. That's all they're doing. It's kind of that joust at like 20 miles an hour that's happening is absurd athleticism.
Well, think about it. You have to be very confident to do it, because let's say you're running, you're like, all right, coach said I got to have late hands, and all of a sudden it's a perfect ball, and you don't put your hands up. You just keep running. You just run like, oh man, I forgot. Almost got to it. Like, or you react as the ball's hitting the ground, you stick your hands out.
It's a little bit too late, coach. That's on me. So how in between those two? Got it. Let's go to Brandon in Pennsylvania. What's going on, Brandon?
Hey, what's up, Pat? How we doing today?
Hey, not as good as this shit you're taking right now. What do you want to talk about, Brandon?
Hey, man, do you think in Detroit, if you were a Detroit fan, would you rather have Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, or Derek Carr taking over for Stafford?
Jeez.
Okay, so I would say Jameis Winston, just because we have no idea how he's playing football right now. I think with Derek Carr coming back from his groin, whatever he's going to have here, T's and P's to whatever happened, just kind of a out of nowhere type injury for him. We know how he's playing. He played good football at times this year, but it felt like before the injury from Trent Cole on the Christmas Eve game, whenever he was having like an MVP run, in post with this whole thing, it seems like he hasn't played at the MVP level that everybody expected him to potentially want to get to. And they've lost, I mean, last 2 years at the end of the season when you need to win games, they lose games. As they Gruden or as a Carr, who knows? Cam, I don't think anybody's pulling the trigger in Cam after this year. He'll probably be a backup somewhere after everything that's happened in New England, even though they're still, nope, they're out.
No, there's a chance.
0.02% Kornacki told us. He knows
so there's a
percentage.
chance.
But I'm just saying, who knows what's going to happen with Cam? So I think that's why people would say Jameis there, just because they don't know what they don't know. And he's got his eyeballs fixed.
Yeah, he can see now. I don't know. I mean, don't you think would none of the above be a choice too if you had to?
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal if you're a Lions fan to be like
other.
That's like the fucking Colts, dude. This Carson Wentz stuff.
Uh-oh.
The amount of articles coming out and people explaining why and how and all this. I'm like, yo, I respect Carson Wentz, okay? I like it. I like what he's been able to accomplish. That's cool, but I mean, maybe we get a guy that we can, we know. Like Stafford as a Colt would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
Aaron Rodgers as a Colt would be awesome.
Unbelievable.
You know what I mean?
Brady.
Well, we could have Brady. I guess we said no.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Let's go to Kansas. Tyler, what's up, dude?
Do you even want him at this point?
Who, Tyler or Tom? Tom.
Both.
Tom's probably good.
Do what?
Oh. Y'all said what?
Hello.
A little bit louder now.
A little bit louder
now. What's going on, bub?
What is up, my dude?
Hey, my guy.
Happy Friday.
Hey, our guy. What's going on? Happy Friday to you, too, Tyler. What do you want to talk about?
Dude, I'll tell you, I just wanted to tip my hat to you boys. I've been a big fan for a long time. Woke up on my birthday with $300K in my account, set up a pretty good lineup for that the Green Bay Chicago game. So I just wanted to tip my hat to you boys, and I had a quick question.
No, before your fucking question. What, you woke up? Yeah, we're here. Are you there? You woke up and there was $300,000 in your account? What does that mean?
That means I was on DraftKings. I set up a lineup for the...
see ya. Let's go to Travis in Michigan. What's going on, Travis? I mean, I'm happy you won, obviously.
Can't be on that website.
Can't be on that way. They probably won't get the... No, I can't say anything about that, but...
He's a stooge.
No, he's not a stooge. You won $300,000.
He sold out.
You sold out.
I didn't see any proof. Did
What
you?
do you want to talk about, Travis? You're right. Travis, what do you want to talk about? Don't if you have the option between the two, I mean, it's just so much easier.
There
to
is
use.
no option.
He's kind of
It's so
glanced
much
over
easier
the
to use.
300,000 like it wasn't a big deal type thing.
Oh, so you think it's fake?
Yeah, fake
for sure.
Travis in Michigan, what do you want to talk about? You know what I've learned about Michigan? What? State stinks.
Oh, what do you mean?
Oh, no.
Every people in that state
stink. I agree. The people are good, but the state as a whole, whenever something gets in there, tends to make it suck. If you start looking around.
No, I mean, the Great Lakes are beautiful. All right, we got loyal sports fans. All right, it's a great state.
You're not a loyal sports fan.
What are you talking about?
You got water, Fox. That's what you're going to say. You got water.
It's the best fresh water in all of America.
Look at a picture of you when you were in Michigan. Look at a picture of you now, dude.
What are you talking about?
True. What you said. Hey, Lake Michigan is vast. No, that son bitch is big. What did you say, Nick?
I said tell it to the people of Flint. What are you talking about?
Oh,
Water's
geez.
not great up there.
Oh, yeah, but there's a lot of shitty parts of states. I mean, let's not get too crazy. I mean, they haven't had water in like 7 years and has not been fixed at all. But there's the lakes out there with a bunch of water. I don't know. Michigan, for me, love the people. Okay, love the laws up there. That golf course we played at was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But it just feels like if you get in there, you're gonna suck. Just feels like you're gonna suck.
Going to happen. Come on. I mean, look at Okuda.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't blame him. We already talked about this. All right, he had a tough go with the coaches.
What about Michigan State? What? What about the University of Michigan? What? What about the Detroit Tigers? What about the Detroit Red Wings? What? What's that? What about your Dodgers up there?
Larry Nassar.
What? It's all just a coincidence. A tough go of bad luck.
And it's not, by the way, the people's fault. The people just happen to be the victim of circumstance. They're in that state or whatever. But it feels like a lot of things stink up there.
Right now.
It'll turn around. You know why? Because the gumption of the people of Michigan. The only good thing Michigan has to offer, the people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Paul Bunyan.
Travis, what do you want to talk about? Paul Bunyan's from Michigan?
Well, first, all sports in Michigan suck besides Michigan State basketball.
Michigan State basketball? Yeah, I grew up wanting to play for Tom Izzo. Isn't that
Other
right?
than that, all the other sports suck.
Isn't that what I grew up wanting?
But I just want to...
Yeah.
We all did.
Play for Tom.
Then if you go to Michigan State,
Everybody
you
wants
also
to
got to
play
deal with.
Yeah, your trainers. You never know.
Hopefully
Whoa.
pull a back muscle and have to deal with Larry.
Oh, what?
Derek Carr definitely does want to be,
Travis, what do you want to talk about, dude?
All right, first, happy birthday, Ty. But with that, after that electric interview with Stone Cold, I just want to know, who would your all-time tag team partner be?
I think Stone Cold. It feels like probably the right one there. I feel like that would be good. Any of those legends. Me and Mr. H would be hilarious. You know what I mean? The Rock would be hilarious. Shawn Michaels would be fucking hysterically awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Bunch of legends. How about you, AJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think Stone Cold would win the majority of that quote. Like, don't you think most people you ask, hey, who would you like to have? I'd say Stone Cold. Now, I mean, a lot of people would say The Rock, too. Kids younger than me, probably.
What about Take?
Take, yeah.
Take. Well, you're a dead man? What?
Randy?
What's that mean? You're dead? What?
You don't breathe?
What? You don't have a heartbeat? What? Because you're wearing them stupid boots? Them stupid gloves?
What?
Stupid bandana?
What?
You got that stupid bike?
What?
He just fucking, they're the best of Steve Austin. We watched this morning. It was.
Then he went to the sayings of death, like kick the bucket. What?
Yeah. Out to the barn? What? All right, that's a show, dude. AJ, good luck to your Ohio State Buckeyes. Need them to win by 20.
Wow. It's a big ask. But, yeah, hopefully they can make it happen.
Why don't you send a motivational vid, dude?
One time,
bro.
Who should I send it to?
Do it right now. We'll cut it. We'll clip it. We'll send it actually every Ryan Day. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk, former Ohio State Buckeye, always an Ohio State legend, has a message for the boys as they take on Northwestern tomorrow in the Big Ten Championship. AJ Hawk, what do you got for the boys?
No, I don't have anything for the boys.
Oh, he doesn't care. Hey, Ohio State Buckeyes, whenever you step on that field against Northwestern, know that the alumni of your school do not care if you win today or not.
I mean, you've been saying things that have been false about me all show, so why not just end it that way?
What's false about it?
What does that mean?
My college record of schooling. I don't know.
You ever picked up one of these whenever you were at Ohio State?
Pencil, yeah.
For football notes and for and yeah, you guys were probably signing autographs with pencils, so you get double the money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They'll erase it and have to do it again.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, I know. You don't want to say anything to the boys though? Like, hey guys, let's go ahead and get it.
They don't need it, Pat. You know. Like, why would you need to give a motivational speech?
Give them OH.
They don't need you. You tell me they need motivation. Those guys?
Nah.
What's your
The only motivation they need is to defeat COVID.
Hell yeah.
And boys need to defeat COVID. And you get to live, so you should just be pumped that you're getting to play another game of football out there.
Privilege.
Because there's a lot of people that aren't. Okay? There's a lot of people that aren't.
That's right.
That's because they stink at football. You're getting to play because you're good at football. Remember that. And the Hawkeyes, they're not playing football.
Nope.
No, we're not. But guess what? We got a big top 5 matchup on Saturday. We're already looking towards basketball season, baby. All right. So.
Happy birthday, Ty. That's the show. Hammer Dons in 7 minutes. It's been the Pat McAfee Show. See you. Thank you, AJ. Woo!